about to listen to the incomparable Win Twice Wrestling Podcast with your hosts, Scott and Holly. We always go over, brother, and that's the bottom line. Dig it? So, sit back, relax, and prepare to be entertained.
With both the Attitude and Austin era in full effect, the WWF rolled into 1999 with a head of steam as the tide in the Monday Night Wars began to turn. Thanks to the likes of Austin, Rock, DX, Mankind and The Undertaker to name but a few, the WWF had seen an upswing in business and the 83 weeks consecutive streak of Monday Nitro beating Raw in the ratings was at an end. Perhaps it was fitting then that the headline act of WrestleMania 15 would see the corporate representative The Rock look to defend the WWF title against Stone Cold Steve Austin. Would we see the Rattlesnake go back to back with main event wins at the showcase of the Immortals? Elsewhere, The Undertaker would look to continue his unbeaten streak by taking on the Big Boss Man inside Hell in a Cell, a match that on paper did not appear to have a clear and distinguished good guy. Triple H would go one-on-one with the Big Red Machine Kane, and with Chyna no longer in his corner, the odds did not look good for the former Blue Blood. Making her third WrestleMania appearance, Sable, who had managed to capitalise on her incredible popularity all the way to the WWF Women's Championship, would look to defend on this night against Tori. In a change of pace from previous year's outings, the New Age Outlaws would both be involved in title matches, albeit not the tag team variant. Both men would find themselves in multi-man scenarios, as Billy Gunn would open the show defending his hardcore title against Al Snow and Hardcore Holly, and Road Dogg defending his Intercontinental title against Goldust, Val Venus and Ken Shamrock. Sadly, WrestleMania 15 would mark the Mania swan song of Owen Hart, who alongside Double J would put the tag team titles on the line against the makeshift team of D'Lo Brown and Test. It is no small secret that Vince McMahon had at one point in time wanted to be a professional wrestler, and it should come as no surprise that eventually the fruit that sprung forth from his loins would look to do the same. Shane McMahon would not only compete at WrestleMania, he would be entering as the defending European champion against former title holder X-Pac. But that wasn't the biggest oddity of the event, far from it in fact. WrestleMania 15 also saw the culmination of the ill-fated Brawl for All. Bart Gunn, having won the tournament, was given a showcase bout against Eric Esch, better known to many as Butterbean. In a bout that comfortably ended in under 30 seconds, we learned once and for all why you don't mix professional wrestling with combat sports. WrestleMania 15 may not have been the best event as a whole, but it came at a time where the company was becoming white hot. The last WrestleMania of the 20th century was certainly a unique event, and with all being well, the Federation would continue to thrive as we ticked over into the new millennium. Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 44 of the Win Twice Wrestling Podcast alongside your hosts Scott and Holly.
Morning.
You right?
I'm good.
Yeah, it's a weekend.
It is a weekend.
Working week is done, thank God. Tough one, that.
Yeah, it was a shit week.
They're all tough ones, but that one was especially tough. But no need to worry because we are back on the march through the Manias for this episode.
Thank God.
It's been a while actually, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I feel like, because this originally was a case of being done once every other week, and then because of, life basically, we had to fit in some shorter episodes, so it now seems to be like a once a month thing, but
it's a little treat.
By God, we will get through it. I mean, there might have been another 16 WrestleManias by the time that we've done that. Honestly, I was thinking about the double header ones, because obviously that's going to have to be that can't be done in one session. It'll have to be night one and then night two. So yeah, there's about
when do they start?
35. So there's like 10 for the sake of 5. It'll be fun. I mean, they're long. They are long. So I think you'll be fine. I think I'm fucked. Just with the notes. I can't do like Cliff Note summaries either now.
No.
I've committed. I've set my stall out in this note-taking fashion.
I wouldn't know what to do if you came in with Cliff Notes. I'd sit there and be like, hang on, these are like my notes.
I go, right, Holly, you take over. You take Chavo Guerrero against Kane at WrestleMania. Oh, that was we'll get there, don't worry. But this one is WrestleMania 15. Now, I'm going to preempt the next WrestleMania. So the next WrestleMania would be WrestleMania 16, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not what it's known as.
Oh.
It's known as WrestleMania 2000. And it bugs me. it's again like it's one of those
weird.
itches at the back of your brain
Okay.
that you can't get to because it was the new millennium. They're not anyone who's around now is not going to be alive for the next millennium if wrestling even is
right,
WWF
okay.
etc. So they thought, yeah, let's jump on that. But annoys me. That should be WrestleMania 16. So I will be calling it WrestleMania 16 when we get there.
Good, because I'll get confused if you start calling it something else.
And because no one else can see your face, because as far as I'm concerned, I have no intention of ever filming this because I think it would
Good,
be.
because I look like absolute shit.
And that's an upgrade on what I look like. So imagine, like, because I don't feel like it's not a nice enough environment. It doesn't look polished enough and professional enough. And who cares about seeing us, to be quite honest? I mean, they get the digital image of us in the corner of the screen.
Yeah,
so
take that, because
that's good.
that is an upgrade to what I
I'll tell you what,
like.
it's thinned me out ever so slightly. It's very nice.
That. It's great.
But yeah, no, top work by I can't remember who it was done. Where did I get that done? Oh, Fiverr. I went on Fiverr for that, which is what I did for the intro as well, and I think that's quite good as well, if I do say so. But we're not quite ready to jump into the meat and potato side of things.
Okay.
We're kind of hit and miss with this because a lot of the time, and I don't want to fire shots at you, but you don't fucking watch anything. So
No, that's not true. This week has been a little bit by the by.
by the by, yes. But what about all the other ones?
I've been busy watching fucking wrestling.
That's
this
what
stuff
I mean.
that we have to talk about.
Okay, so I will open up Pandora's
Yes.
box. Have you seen anything in wrestling that's caught your
Fucking
attention?
loads.
Go on then, list all of
Loads.
them.
I've seen the promo package for tomorrow's Progress.
Oh, okay, fine. I thought you were about to repeat back to me what I was just talking to you about.
I'm not that much of a bitch.
Well, yeah,
It'd be funny though.
It would have been funny. I would have definitely done that, just so you know. So you saw the promo package. We're going to Progress tomorrow.
Yes.
I actually got a message from our friend who we've met at the show before, asking how things are going. So I don't think he's going to this one from conversations
I don't know.
previously, and I think you're not available for the one in October either.
Not.
I think me and Jamie are going to be making the trek, and a couple of my other friends have said that they'd quite like to go
Don't
at
have
some
too
point
much fun
as well.
without me, you know.
It's not a party unless Holly's there, as far as I'm
Oh,
concerned.
good.
To be fair, I'd get rid of the lot of them just so it could be me and you if it had to be. I wouldn't swap you out for one of them, but I'd still like to go see the wrestling.
Of
So,
course.
what about the promo package interested you then?
All of it.
All of it. Is there a particular, I don't know, let's say main event that might have caught your eye?
I'm very excited about seeing Luke Jacobs and Eddie Dennis.
Oh, Eddie Dennis. Oh, yes, you never mentioned
I'm a
him.
big fan.
Big fan of
Big
Eddie
fan.
Dennis. Congratulations on Eddie passing his driving test recently. Wonderful picture. Holly, talk to me about that picture and what you
Stop
thought when
it.
you saw it.
Stop it. It just breaks the illusion, doesn't it?
What?
I know everyone's a real person. This is going to sound so dumb. I know everyone is a real person, but it's when you see people like they're not their character.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, okay.
What was he supposed to be doing? The old head banging
Yeah,
thing next to
absolutely.
out the car window.
Absolutely.
There you go, Eddie. You let yourself down on that one.
But no, I think there's a couple of matches that should be pretty good.
Based on our track record, I have got reservations that we might have grown men thrown at us again. Because the last two shows we've been there, we've been deep in the audience as well. We've not been
We
close.
have been deep.
And twice I've managed to be twatted by someone that's been thrown into the crowd. So that's why I'm not saying where there's a blame, there's a claim. I'm just saying one more and I might tag myself into the match. But there's a street fight, and actually, I'll be honest, I don't want to tag myself into that one because two of those men are particularly scary. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
But weirdly, and I'm going to just be honest about this card is less intriguing to me than the last couple we've been to.
Really, see, this one for me intrigues me more than the last one.
No, I was quite looking forward to the Luke Jacobs, Kid Lykos matches. We know I'm a fan of the Super Strong Style 16 tournament.
Yeah.
There was quite a lot of surprises at the last one. I don't know if we're going to get anything like that this time, but we'll see. I hope so. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
But and like I said,
Regardless, it'll be a good day. 'Cause
Exactly.
we always have a laugh.
And
but-
it's tapered my expectations, which means that it's either going to match it or exceed it,
Yeah,
to be
true.
honest. So because I've never gone there and come back and gone, that was shite.
That is very true.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Outside of that, in the wider world of wrestling,
Yes, what have you seen?
I've seen many things.
Good,
Holly. I mean, I've
tell
seen fairly little, if I'm being honest. But I did see that there was a lot of good promo work done on SmackDown last night. I was looking through the socials to see what I'd missed.
Check you out.
It's all the stuff you've set up on Instagram, just because it's easy for me. Because I can never. The thing is, I never had an Instagram account prior to you setting one up for the show, so I didn't have the ability to go and look through it. And now it's just too easy to click on it and start scrolling.
Oh, you fall into a black hole.
It's awful. It is awful. It's the same with one of my mates was talking about how well we're doing on YouTube, and I said sometimes I just find myself clicking on it out of habit, not actually wanting to see anything, but just because it's there. He called it analysis paralysis, and I was like, yeah, it very much is. You feel like you're stuck doing it.
Oh, like you're checking the stats.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that was an interesting term.
I don't understand that, so
no, we have tried to explain it to you. We'll try and explain it to you another time. But yeah, but going back to SmackDown, there was footage that was shot from, I think it was Georgia Tech football stadium, and it was between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, and they were having their meeting prior to potentially aligning with one another for the Bad Blood contest. And the promo was cinematic, is the way I describe it, and it was decent. The acting on it was pretty good. And there was a bit where they both kind of agree to, have each other's back. Cody goes to walk off, as does Roman Reigns. They nearly kind of walk into each other and they pause. And Roman goes, "You're in my way." And Cody keeps himself composed, nods his head, takes a step back. Roman still doesn't move and he says, "You're in my way in life." Oh. And then walks off. And it was all dramatic. I was like, oh, that's pretty good. That's not bad. Okay. It's not bad. That's the main thing I saw. And they're teasing a New Day split. Which,
I mean, I don't care.
Okay, so you don't care. I'm glad you said that, because I know a lot of people are big fans of New Day. Individually, fine.
Without Big E, I don't care.
Oh, I don't care with.
Oh, since
they're
Big
fine.
E's not there, I don't care.
It's nothing to me. It's not bad. It's not good. I just don't care.
But do you think individually it will be... they'll still have the longevity?
Kofi will. Big E's probably close to being done. I think he'll come back for something.
He does a lot of the pre-show stuff, which actually I really like him doing.
He does. You could argue the actual best worker out of the lot of them was Xavier Woods, who's actually achieved relatively, in comparison to them, less than the others, because he's the only one that hasn't won the WWE title. Huh. Kofi had it, Big E had it. Yeah. I thought that was weird, actually. Kofi I kind of got. I just didn't like he beat Daniel Bryan for it. Yeah, no, I was in the vegans corner for that one, to be honest. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it or anything like that. It's just, to me, it wasn't for me. Yeah, and Big E kind of the same, to be honest. So I'm not saying give Xavier Woods the title, but he would be the one that, I think he's the youngest, to be fair, but I think he's the one I'd worry about most in terms of how long he'd be there. But he seems like a good company guy, so they probably would keep him around. But
we shall see.
That's pretty much everything I saw in wrestling this week. Like I said, progress tomorrow. Shall we, now we've moved the entrees aside?
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Shall we bring the nice roast platter? Well, not roast. No, big tub of lasagna. What?
Yeah, like lasagna.
Carbonara.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say let's split a carbonara, but you don't share carbonara.
I don't share food, no.
WWF WrestleMania 15. The date, 28th of March 1999. The venue, First Union Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Attendance on the night was 20,276, with a very healthy buy rate of 800,000. Tagline, you'll like this one. We've had a lot of good taglines over the years. This might be the most ridiculous one I've ever seen.
Go on.
The Raging Climax.
I'm sorry, what?
The Raging
Climax?
Not Raging. The Raging Climax.
Oh.
Yeah, there's an apostrophe in there. There's no G. Raging Climax.
God,
title of your sex tape.
No.
Not yours specifically. No. But what were they thinking? It's got nothing to do with it.
Climax. I don't understand.
Seriously.
It makes no sense.
I mean, Sable's on the card, but wait until I get to that.
I know.
Right. Don't come for me, Brock Lesnar. I appreciate you could wear me as a condom. Introduction. I don't know why I shouted that. Yeah. Normally I ignore those bits and just read the bit below. But I got myself so concerned about being assaulted by Brock Lesnar that it's fine. We're back in the room.
All right.
So, Holly, the last time we were on our March Through the Mania series, we saw the dawn of the Austin era with one of your favourites, Shawn Michaels, bowing out to get surgery on his back. I'm curious that with us not having Hogan, Savage, Bret, Shawn, if you feel differently about the WrestleManias now.
A little bit. A little bit apprehensive, I'll be honest.
Not necessarily that you won't enjoy it, but wrestlers that we've seen in almost every event, will it feel like we've edged ourselves into a new era, like an actual new era?
Yes.
Because we don't even have the likes of, I mean, don't get me wrong, he wasn't there as long as the others, but Al Hayes, Jesse's gone.
Everyone.
Gorilla's not on commentary. Even Heenan, not there.
Oh, it's fine.
Gene, gone.
Yeah, everyone you have given to me and made me like, they're all gone.
I know.
Livid.
The one you were most upset about, I think, was Yokozuna.
Fuck off.
No?
No.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Sorry, Yokes, I tried to get your help there. This is, of course, the last WrestleMania of the decade, and furthermore, the last of the 20th century. Feels like this should be... I know I fucked you by saying 20th century, the last one in the 1900s. There we go.
I know, I'm so stupid. I've never been able to understand that.
I can confirm Holly is not stupid, but she does have these weird blind spots for some reason.
If you said to me, like, what years are in the 20th century or 21st, I would not have a clue. Do
you know the way to do that?
No.
So if I say the 21st century, it's 2000 something. So always go one back. So the 19th... in the
23rd... No. Shut up.
No, we're in the 21st century.
I can't do it.
We're still in the 21st century.
It's the first
it's the hundreds.
Numbers.
Correct. So if I said the 19th century, it's the 1800s. Because you're going into the 19th century.
Oh, gee, I can.
Okay, I know we've completely gone off the rails on this one, and Holly's really tickled herself with that.
So dumb. So
we're in the 23rd century. Sure, we're in a Busted song.
Oops. What dick.
It feels like this should be the statement event for the company, right? We'll see if it actually turns out to be that. You know, I always ask you these two questions, and I know you always come back and say, I don't have any, but I'm going to come back with the questions.
That's that fucking impersonation.
No, it's just what you say. I just happen to put my spin on it. I never said that was your voice. If I was doing your voice, I'd say, no. That's what I'd say. Of matches that took place at this event prior to watching it. So were you aware of any of them that had taken place? Okay, good.
Absolutely.
And did you have any expectations for what you'd see? This is kind of touching upon the fact that I said we've lost so many of the people.
As I said, I was a little bit apprehensive because I was like, am I going to see anyone that, you know, I've grown a little bit attached to?
I love that.
Or no?
And I'll tell you why I love that, because I thought this would be the time where you'd go, oh, good, I'm now comfortable.
Yeah.
Because going into this, I didn't know if you were going to have any affinity with the older WrestleManias.
Yeah.
And you have, and now you're missing those
Some people, not all of them.
Well, true, Coco Beware doesn't need to come back. Rick Martel can probably stay away for a while as well. But it's nice to know that you kind of become attached to them, which is so good, because I'm thinking about all these old shows that we've got to cover with, like, Al Hayes on commentary for one. There's one particularly I want to get us on the docket fairly soon that's from his era on commentary. In a change of pace, we don't get a promo package to open the show.
Yay, which doesn't reveal everything that's about to happen.
But instead, we go to Howard Finkel introducing us to Philadelphia's own Boys to Men, who will be singing America the Beautiful.
Amazing. Fucking amazing.
A mixed reception for the group, but they do a very nice version of the song, and in another first, we don't get shown a litany of patriotic images. It just focuses on them.
It does. I really enjoyed the fact that they clearly dressed up for the occasion.
Oh, yeah.
In jeans and roll neck jumpers.
Yeah. It's the Attitude Era.
But it's Boys to Men.
Boys to Men.
They are the definition of the erection section of a disco.
They are?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
An erection section of the disco?
The erection section.
I've never heard this. Maybe it's an older person thing.
Fuck off. I say disco because it's like an old thing. But like, you know, at the end of a night, when like you used to
slow dance,
not go into like clubs, but literally like a disco, and you were, I don't even know, like effectively like younger.
Okay.
All the slow songs.
Yeah.
No, the erection section.
Why is it called the erection section though?
Nice. You know,
because pressed up and then
slow music, a little bit
of physical contact,
side to side, and
were you giving lots of erection sections when you were younger?
No, I'm a good girl. No.
Okay, fair enough. Believe that if you want. I choose to have my own opinion.
Sure.
I thought the mixed reception was interesting because I swear I heard boos.
It wasn't as like loud and cheery as we're used to, I do believe.
No, but like, I feel like maybe it's because it's edgier, but they're also from Philadelphia, so you'd think that I liked it. I thought it was good. One of the better ones.
I preferred it over many of the others we've had.
I'm trying to think what my favourite one was.
The gospel-y
no,
Little Richard.
No. No, I think it was probably Aretha Franklin was up there,
good.
or Ray Charles. I thought he was actually very good.
You didn't like
Not Mean Gene, not Rockin' Robin.
the country version.
Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
No, Willie Nelson was fine. He was better than
He was
Reba
wearing
McEntire.
90% of the merchandise.
He was, yeah. Pretending like I like the idea of him having raided it, just wearing it, and when people are like, no one's going to say, "Did you nick that?" He's just going to be like, "No, they gave it to me," but no one asked him. But I reckon he robbed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Reba McEntire, who had that.
Yeah.
It was a bit too country for me for that part of the show, but anyway. We do get fireworks at the culmination of the performance before we transition into the promo package that I had expected would kick us off. Black and white footage of Freddie Blassie sat in a seat in an auditorium talking about the infinite nature of time. Bit deep. Yeah. Bit deep to start off the show. We see clips of The Rock win the WWF title. With the WWF title over his shoulder. Andre the Giant looming in the ring. Undertaker's march between the Druids from Mania 14, which I said they fucking use a lot. And Shawn Michaels realising a boyhood dream at the 12th iteration of the event. Moments that echo through the ages, we are told, and we see Stone Cold screaming, covered in blood from the iconic match with Bret, Shawn Michaels posing mid-ring, and Kane setting his corner pyro off, which didn't seem like it fit with the rest of it. Mankind being thrown from the top of the cell, can't wait to get to that show, and Taker dropping a leg through Austin on the announce table. The music is used to add gravitas to it all. I thought,
cheeky.
Yeah, I know, a bit of cheeky gravitas. Blassie begins talking of the gods of Greece as we're shown Triple H and Val Venus. D'Lo Brown and Big Show also feature as we now move to a number of finishing moves. The package ends with Blassie walking out of the auditorium and he signs off with, "Welcome to WrestleMania, the showcase of the Immortals." The screen now fills up with a tunnel of graphical light tubes that lead us to the WrestleMania 15 logo that crawls towards the lens, until it vanishes and we see almost a film reel of some of the key players that we'll see at the event. The logo appears once more and the voiceover welcomes us to WrestleMania 15. Live in the arena, the camera is trained up the aisle to the entrance where we see a pyro display set in front of the WrestleMania logo backdrop. Now we have fireworks going off in the ring as well, as we are shifted to a camera in the bleachers so we can take it all in. Hang on a second, that isn't JR. Michael Cole is the first voice we hear on commentary as we're panning through the venue to witness the sea of humanity. So Holly, where was JR? Well, unfortunately for the fans and the man himself, he was recovering from a bout of Bell's palsy and had been off TV for some time to recover. His absence left a vacancy for Michael Cole to fill, who was alongside the King for WrestleMania 15. King is obviously sat in full kit wanker attire, as is always the case for these events, and he and Cole discuss the big main event between The Rock and Stone Cold. Right away you know the main event of the match.
Yeah.
Pretty much the only one they discuss, apart from like we get the backstage segments where they say this one's now,
Yes.
so you don't get a big run into it.
Yeah.
I know that based on comments that I've seen on Instagram, you were surprised of revelations about the main event, not specifically for this show, but the number of times these two men met
Oh, yes.
at
I know what you're talking
WrestleMania.
about, yes.
Now, I know that you'd known they met twice because from TLC, your favourite match probably of all time, that's also the main event for that show, The Rock and Stone Cold.
Ooh.
They have another one at 19,
Yeah.
2 years later. They've all got their merits. I would say that the 17 one is probably the best,
Okay.
barring the ending. And this one I would say is probably the worst.
Oh, okay.
To me.
Okay.
And there's specific reasons as
Okay.
to why, but we'll discuss that when
Yes.
we get to WrestleMania 19. How did you feel knowing that that was going to be the main event of the night? It's about as Attitude Era as it gets.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, all right. I mean, we know where my alliance is with those two. Straight away.
Who's that?
Stone Cold.
Yeah, I'm The Rock, so that's fine.
I know.
What you seem to revel in
No,
this.
I don't know. I just like him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the voice, the
The
attitude?
whole thing.
Yeah, the t-shirt and the pants.
Yeah, I don't like that. He's a good-looking man.
Yeah, of course he is.
Even like now.
Yeah, he's
I think
fine.
he's aging like a nice fine wine.
Yeah.
The voice is ridiculous.
Yeah, he looks like my dad if my dad was well built, had an adult voice, adult shoulders, and wasn't cross-eyed.
Okay.
But basically my dad is what I'm saying. So Steve, if you're out there and you want to adopt me, then just you know how to get in touch.
But yeah, so that's where my alliances were. But I know
Well, no, the alliance wasn't here
yet. We had a long time to get there. I know that much.
The alliance didn't come in until like late 2000, 2001.
Oh.
Okay, fine. We're going to shit on that joke, are we?
Yes,
That's
we
my
are.
best one. If you're shitting on that, we're in trouble. We are
no
in.
impressions to come.
Do you know? I don't think I've written any down. To be fair, I can throw some in
That
if you
doesn't
want.
mean that they're not coming.
Well, I wasn't expecting to do Mae Young and Jeff Hardy from the last one, but here we are. Opening contest of the night: Al Snow versus Hardcore Holly versus Billy Gunn for the WWF Hardcore title. Without getting into the match,
Yeah.
thoughts?
This is how I remember Al Snow.
What does everybody want?
Yeah, and the head. That's it. Because I remember we saw him previously, didn't
Royal
we?
Rumble?
In a unitard. And I was like, who is this? Like, I knew who it was, obviously, but I was like, what? That's baffling.
This isn't the Al that I knew.
Yeah, and then I see him here and I go, this must be when I proper started watching now, because this I remember. And as soon as I wasn't even looking at the screen, and I was getting a drink or something, but I heard that beginning, what does everybody want? I was like, that's Al Snow, right?
Yeah.
I was like so proud of myself that I knew who
I'm
it
proud
was.
of you as well. That's good.
Yeah.
So to kick things off, we see Al Snow make his way to the ring, accompanied by Head. And Holly, did you notice what it said on his tank top?
Oh, go on.
The shirt reads JOB Squad 1, 2, 3 for life. So the JOB Squad was a professional wrestling stable in the World Wrestling Federation formed in November 1998. The theme of the group was that each member was a perennial enhancement talent, otherwise known as jobbers, in which they lost to established or up-and-coming wrestlers. The acronym JOB was said to stand for Just Over Broke, a reference to wrestlers' penchant for appearing in preliminary matches and therefore being on the low end of the pay scale. The JOB squad wore shirts resembling NWO shirts as a parody of the many NWO factions and offshoots in World Championship Wrestling. Road Dogg was first seen wearing the shirts and made reference to the squad on the March 30th, 1998 episode of Raw is War, the night after WrestleMania 14, and the same night that he, Billy Gunn and X-Pac joined D-Generation X. I thought I'd give you a little bit of a background on that. This is Al Snow's WrestleMania debut, and I may have been one of the few, but I actually really like the Al Snow look and gimmick at this time.
Yeah, me too, yeah.
I feel I'm not ashamed to say that.
No.
I quite liked the blonde hair worked for him as well, I thought, even. It's just different.
Yeah.
And he was a good worker. He was always a good worker in
Very
the ring.
good.
So, yeah, I approve. Thumbs up. We see Snow bouncing around in a hunch position before raising Head high into the air. Next out is Hardcore Holly, who's wearing the gear usually associated with young lions in Japan before they're given any character in their own right. I might not care for the man, but his physique is outstanding. But Holly, do you know what held him back in my opinion?
No.
His stupid fucking face.
Oh.
His head just does not go with the rest of him. It's like a kid fucking around with Lego, popping the head off a wrestler and replacing it with that of a beaver man. I will say that I'm well aware this man could comfortably kick my ass in whichever way he saw fit, but it only just dawned on me that his head looks weird.
Oh, okay.
Like, because his physique is incredible,
is ridiculous, yeah.
but his head is...
Oh, I
it's
see.
just... It doesn't... The two parts do not
It's a prawn.
mesh. He's a prawn or a butterface.
Prawn, yeah.
So, yeah, either way.
Okay.
Finally, we get the WWF Hardcore Champion, Badass Billy Gunn, makes his way to the ring, and at least they're doing it correctly with the champion coming out last. We have points to discuss on this one later. The camera pans to the fans in the crowd, and I spot the infamous Hat Guy, who would frequent all the ECW shows in the area. Makes sense, this is the home of ECW after all. So at the front of, on the hard camera side, of pretty much any ECW show in the tri-state area, specifically in Philadelphia, there's a guy who's in a Hawaiian shirt and like a straw hat. You'll see him at pretty much every ECW show, and he's kind of pretty much in the same place, just a couple rows back at WrestleMania.
Oh,
And it's weird.
okay.
Obviously, he's a big wrestling fan. He'll go everywhere. I don't know if this guy's still kicking around today, to be fair, but I'd love to hear some of the stuff that he's seen over the years.
To reach out for
Yeah, do you know
Straw
what?
Hat
If
Guy.
anyone's got the contact information of Hat Guy, I would love to hear from him. I genuinely would. Where do we go from here? Billy Gunn's face is the wettest thing I have ever seen. Water is less wet than this man's face.
Yeah.
No, Billy has his belly button pierced. Holly, if it isn't safe for cheerleading, it cannot be safe for wrestling.
Yeah.
More importantly, is that an ick?
Yes.
Yep. Billy grabs the microphone and says he knows that Philadelphia is looking forward to something hardcore, but he's hit from behind by Al Snow and this one is underway. In turn, Hardcore sneaks behind Snow and starts beating on him. Double whip to Al, who, although it keeps looking like I put AI because it's, but it's not. Al, who eats a double back elbow, putting him down, and now Hardcore swings a right hand at the champion. After a few punches and kicks in the corner, Hardcore whips Gunn and connects with a clothesline that turns him inside out. Billy was always good for a clothesline sell. For a big man, he would always flip inside out, and it looked, for the most part, pretty believable. Snow begins kicking away, and both Hardcore and Gunn going between the two before exiting the ring and running Holly face first into the Spanish announce desk, and then whipping him with a thick cable from the ground. Are you laughing because I said Holly?
It just makes me chuckle.
It does, doesn't it? That's why I used to keep going with Hardcore, but it sounds weird if I keep saying the same thing. I need to get you a shirt that says Hardcore Holly. Gunn blindsides Snow and looks to whip him, but is instead reversed and hits the stairs knees first, sending him sailing over and into the barricade. That looked good.
Yes, it did.
Hardcore now has Snow and rams him face first into the barricade in the entryway before suplexing him onto the mats, whilst he himself landed back first on the concrete. Not smart.
Yeah, no.
Gunn is, it's kind of him to do so, but not smart. Gunn is back and stomps on both men before raking his boot across the eyes of Holly. Now I'm laughing, great. Speaking of, this is a weird segue, but I haven't had the chance to speak to you about this because I don't think you were in the office at the time.
Oh, God.
You weren't there on Tuesday, were you?
No.
So Mark was in and was sat near Jackie and was talking to her about the work he's getting done on his house.
Sure.
And I heard him say something, because I wasn't listening to the conversation, but I was like, that sounded really weird. And I just looked at Graham and said, did Mark just add a syllable in the word concrete? And Graham went, yes, he did. Mark said, concrete. So that's another one to add to. I appreciate no one out there will care about that, but there's this guy we work with, lovely, lovely bloke, but he will mispronounce words, not intentionally, all the time, and he blames his French mother, basically, for this. One of my favourites is Vaseline. Instead of Vaseline.
Yeah, I said that yesterday.
There's a, weirdly he says ointment instead of ointment.
Love that.
And concrete is now added to the list of words as well. So I just wanted to share that because we all know someone who's like that. And it's not Holly because, I mean, so...
I'm amazed.
Yeah, honestly. I've completely lost where I am in the notes, but we will go back there. Gunn plants Snowface first onto the steel stairs. And okay, no, we're good. Gunn plants Snow's face on the steel stairs and looks to pile drive Holly on the mat, but is prevented from doing so thanks to a clubbing arm to the back. Hardcore thanks Snow by punching him in the face. Holly looks to retrieve something from under the ring, but is cut off by Al, who grabs a hockey stick and drives it across Hardcore's back, and then twirls it around in a martial arts display before hitting the champ with it too.
Quite like that.
Couple more shots for each man as the crowd chants "Let's go Flyers" in honour of their hockey team, and Al has now pulled the commentary team's selection of beverages under the ring and throws them at his opponents.
I'd like that. It's so silly.
I did, like mainly because King is outraged and probably feels a measure of revenge when Gunn smashes the tray over Snow's head, sending ice in every which direction. Now Billy has the hockey stick and breaks it over the back of Hardcore, who was holding a broom. But Hardcore matches of the era are weird.
Yeah. Because all the shit they get out, you're like, what you can do with that?
This was actually quite a tame Hardcore match by a lot of that, especially when you compare it with, let's say, the street fight we saw at Royal Rumble. This isn't even on the same level. In the ring, no. Yes. In the ring, the champ... No. Yes. In the ring, the champ...
Okay?
I think so. I'm just about there. In the ring, the champ jabs at Holly with the broken stick, which is a great image, as Al slides in, holding the broom, but is also jabbed with the broken weapon. Low blow from Snow, who now breaks the broom over Billy's back. Snow once again twirls the broken broom as if it were nunchucks and poses in the middle of the ring before returning to beat on Hardcore, but mainly Billy Gunn.
I like it.
I liked it, I'll be honest. Whipped by Snow, who uses the broom handle to drive across the throat of the returning Holly, and we can see that Gunn has got his hands on a chair now. He looks to pick his opportunity, but is hit with the broom once again when he re-enters the ring. Snow drives the chair into the midsection of Gunn in one corner and Hardcore in the opposite. He sets the chair up in the middle of the ring, runs off it, and hits a poetry in motion on Gunn. He repositions the chair before driving the point of the handle into the dick of Gunn, and the cameras let us down as he runs off the chair again, but misses Holly. Hardcore charges at the champ, who sends him over the top to the floor, and follows him, sending him sternum first into the barricade. Back in the ring, Gunn runs face first back in the ring, Gunn runs face first into a hit from Al Snow's head, and Hardcore gets the same. Al Snow consults with Head and points outside the ring where he grabs himself a table and sets it up leaning in the corner. It looks like there is already a splatter of blood on the underside of the table, which is concerning.
Yes, I saw that.
I assume paint, but I can't work out why there'd be paint on it either. Snow and Holly reverse one another on a whip until Holly hits a short arm clothesline. Sadly, he didn't see Gunn approaching and he eats a chair shot to the head. Big hip toss from Gunn sends Al Snow through the table and he crotch chops to the crowd, much to their delight. Yes. With the chair lying in the middle of the ring, Gunn hits the Faymaster on Snow, driving him face first into the steel. Hook of the leg and we get the 1, 2, nope. Hardcore hits Gunn in the back with a chair to break up the fall before falling onto Snow himself for the 1, 2, 3, regaining the WWF Hardcore title. So many boos greet the winner as Gunn complains to the official, but this one is over.
Yes.
Holly, what do you think of your WrestleMania opening?
I didn't mind it, actually. It was fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it was okay. That's how I would perfectly describe it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If I was there and I was watching it and this was the opener, I'd have been happy.
Okay.
I didn't like the end result, but I'd have been all right.
No one did.
Well, no, clearly.
What'd you score it?
2 out of 5.
1.25 by Dave Meltzer.
Okay.
I would struggle to go above 1.5. I didn't think there was it just seemed like a series of random events.
Yeah.
I liked Al Snow brought more to the table than anyone, I thought.
For sure.
I did like the Faymaster onto the steel chair. That was good. The rest of it was largely forgettable, so I would go 1.5 as the maximum score.
Fair enough. We will start to realise as well soon that I will start to overscore things because it's people alike. This is going to be the problem.
What do you mean start to?
Well, yeah, but I didn't do that most of the time last time. They're just the odd matches.
You gave a whole star to a match because Test was there in a match that you said was shit.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm just putting it out there.
Fine. It's your scoring criteria. You do whatever you see fit with it.
Thank you.
But don't try and justify it and make us go, oh yeah, all right.
Some people will let me have it. So
some people would let you have it. That is for sure. We are now shown footage from Sunday Night Heat where a battle royal is taking place to determine the number 1 contenders for the tag team titles. Test and D'Lo Brown emerge as the final 2, meaning they are the duo that will be going for the gold.
Oh, lovely.
We see the champions Jeff Jarrett and Owen Hart attack them from behind, and that is the build to this upcoming tag title match. Feels a bit weak to me, that.
Oh, okay.
How do you not have like a top tag team feud justifying a tag team title match at WrestleMania?
I see what you're saying.
It's not like it was a throwaway tag team match, which wouldn't have made sense with the Battle Royal stipulations anyway, but why? Just, you have other teams, do something with them. Actually, I'm trying to think who else was around that they could have done. Probably no one, which is the issue.
What year is this?
So this is 99. Like, all the Headbangers were there.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been crap, but at least it's like a tag team, whereas Test and D'Lo just thrown together.
What about, I know he's just been on, but what about Road Dogg and
Billy Gunn? Well, they were a tag team, but they were both in separate singles title matches.
Yeah, of course.
So we see the other one later on.
You'd take them out of that then, wouldn't you? And have to...
Exactly.
Yeah, fair enough.
Just seemed odd. I mean, wonder, the Acolytes were around now, I thought.
Oh, that's the APA, right?
It is the APA, but they were the Acolytes at this point, which is why I call them such.
The APA.
Of course they are. So D'Lo Brown with Ivory and Test. So he's not with Test. Test is his tag team partner, but I'm saying Ivory wasn't there with Test. She was there specifically with D'Lo Brown versus Jeff Jarrett. Did I over-explain that a little bit?
What?
Cool. Versus Jeff Jarrett with Deborah and Owen Hart for the WWF tag team title.
So this was Test's Mania debut?
Yes, it was. He's like 23.
Okay.
And fluffy haired.
Fit then.
If you like your chipmunk faced men, then yes.
Shut up.
I'm surprised you didn't like Hardcore Holly.
No. Also, where are Deborah's clothes?
Wherever they want.
I mean, ridiculous.
Stone Cold's missus is delivering.
She looked amazing. But, Jesus.
Yeah, I'm sure Steve had put many Steve Weisers in her by that point, to be honest. Holly.
Yes.
You happy bunny with this one?
Yes.
We're now getting the WrestleMania debut of Test, who happens to have bone dry hair and a tank top that reads, "Guns don't kill people, I kill people." Not particularly aged well, that one, has it?
No, not really.
At this moment in time, Test was still representing the corporation, and he and D'Lo get into a shoving match on the outside of the ring as the champions now make their entrance. We might not have Bret Hart anymore, but we do have Owen, at least for this one, as this would sadly be the last WrestleMania for the former Rocket as well.
This was only 2 months before the incident, wasn't it?
Yes.
So it just weirdly puts, not even weirdly, but just puts a dampener on.
It does, yeah.
Any time I see him.
Yeah, because when it's further away, it's better, isn't it? But when you get within the last year or two,
I know you know what's coming.
Yeah, shame he didn't. We might not have done that. I am no JR. But good God Almighty, look at what Deborah isn't wearing here.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Advance warning, Holly. Don't piss Jeff Jarrett off. It says it on his top.
Oh. Balls, man. We know I'm not a fan.
What, of Jeff Jarrett?
Yes.
What is it about him you don't like?
I don't know. This is like freaking X-Pac. I don't know. I don't know. He just
a lot of
me
people are in the same boat as you, though, so it's not like it's an uncommon opinion.
I mean, to be fair, to give them credit, they must be doing something right if I'm annoyed by them for no reason.
Okay, yes, I'll concede to that.
If they're playing a part.
But at the same time, is it I like seeing them, but I don't like them, or is it I don't want to see them?
Ooh. Jeff Jarrett, I don't care. I don't want to see him.
Okay, but X-Pac, you don't...
I don't mind seeing him. He just annoys me.
Weird,
Yeah,
because I've explained to you what X-Pac heat means, which is like go away heat. They just don't want to see you.
Yeah, I don't.
Whereas yours is Jeff Jarrett heat.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I don't even necessarily disagree with it.
I wish
to be
I
fair.
could explain it, but as many things I feel, I can't explain it.
Well, I'd rather watch an X-Pac match than a Jeff Jarrett match, so I probably
all day long.
Out of the two, I'd side with you, I guess, on that one. I do actually like the similar themed gear that he and Owen have on. I appreciate they're not the same colour, but they do work together well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They've both kind of got jagged lines, and it
meshes well.
It does. Cole asks King if Deborah is an advantage to the champions, and King replies, well, she does have great assets. He can assure us of that.
Well, so can anyone with eyes.
Yes, we're not excluding the blind on this one, obviously,
well,
but
you're going to see, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you got touch TV or so. Oh, imagine if they did that.
Touch TV.
Like, you know, the stuff that you can like put your hand on and your face in, and then like the metal things go through and you get a 3D image. I wonder if I'm talking shit, but do you reckon they could like do something like that for a TV so you could like watch it with your hand?
I don't know.
Oh, well, I don't know. Well, I'm just saying, if there's anyone out there listening and thinking of a new invention, maybe go with that one.
Yep.
I've lost where I am with it. I was thinking of Deborah's... sorry, what's that say? I'm just reading my notes here and I'm a little bit concerned. Oh, no, okay. No, we're fine. Is Deborah wearing a blazer the same as putting a lab coat on a stripper?
Hells yeah.
It's sending a mixed message to me. It's like, I'm business.
Business at the front, party underneath.
Well, yeah, quite. D'Lo and Test are still arguing, which bodes really well for them on this one. I actually now realise that both challengers are wearing black, so that's a Brucey bonus right there.
Yep.
The bell sounds and Test and D'Lo jump the champions in the corner as they disrobe for the match. Test whips Owen Hart and connects with a big boot before clotheslining him out of the ring. Thankfully, Owen didn't try to force himself up and over and collapsed before rolling out instead. I approve of that. It's the ones where they get stuck and then jump again and throw themselves out. Stupid. D'Lo whips Jarrett but misses a clothesline of his own and is shoulder tackled to the canvas. D'Lo with a drop down and he hits a big hip toss on Double J. Clothesline by D'Lo and he connects with a flying forearm. Corner whip is reversed by Jarrett, but he runs right into a back elbow which creates enough distance for both men to make the tag. Owen ducks a big right and opens the Hart Butcher's counter where he's sending chops flying. Owen hits the ropes but runs into a kick to the gut and looks like he spots directly... What? Looks like he spots directly into the face. Spits. Because as he's kicked into the gut, he spits and it looks like he just
like
fully gozzes in Tez's. Tez. So it's like Taz.
Test and I was thinking of Pez.
Well, I guess his neck's long enough that you could probably tip his head back and a sweet would come out of the throat. So he looks like he spits in Tess's face. Falling powerbomb from Tess earns a 2 count. That's a weird move. Pump handle slam is countered into an enziguri and Owen quickly locks in the sharpshooter until D'Lo breaks the hold with a forearm. D'Lo now gets the tag and levels Owen with a right hand and body slam before hitting an elaborate leg drop. I don't know what to call that. It's just the point to each side, shake your head, point forward, drop the leg. He screams, "You suck!" at Owen and applies a side headlock. D'Lo is pushed off and Jarrett looks to hit a knee to the back, which is no-sold, and Double J is dropped with a big right hand. This momentary distraction still allows for Owen to hit a spinning heel kick. Gut wrench suplex, and now Jarrett is the legal man.
Boom.
Double whip and clothesline before a dual groin stretch to D'Lo. Jarrett now drapes him over the middle rope and guillotines him with his legs before going into his strutting routine. Owen tagged back in, but the double team clothesline is ducked and D'Lo drops both men with a clothesline of his own. Body slam to Jeff and one for Owen too. Leg lariat to Owen as Michael Cole says sexual chocolate, and that will never not be funny to me. Great counter by D'Lo, who counters a leapfrog with a sky high and makes the cover, which has to be broken by Owen at 2. Test is now in the ring as well, and we see Ivory pull Deborah off the apron. Always worries me when I see a woman in heels jump to the floor like that, because that looks like you're asking for a broke. Yep, because mine would.
Yeah.
When I wear heels and jump off like...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how you did yours, really.
That's how I get
That's
out of
the
bed.
real story.
That I just wear them, jump high in the air, land on the floor and hope for the best.
Okay.
Which is why my ankles click every time I go down the stairs. Outside the ring, no, we've skipped so many parts there. The ref is distracted, meanwhile. That is a theme of the night, by the way.
Shocking.
D'Lo counters a body slam attempt and looks for his running powerbomb. Not on this occasion, as Owen blindsides him, he said backsides him, with a missile drop kick that hits its mark, and Jarrett rolls up a jackknife cover and gets the 1, 2, 3. Double J and Owen retain the tag team gold. Outside the ring, it appears as though Terry and Jackie have appeared to speak with Ivory, but they walk off as Tess begins berating her for costing them the title match.
So that was a little pointless, because you don't really see it either. We just hear about it, and there's no result in that. It's like they just want to be on telly for 10 seconds.
But they never even really mentioned them, to be fair, that I could hear.
Weird.
So D'Lo's now on the scene and pulls Tess to face him, where after a few short words they begin brawling. Really soft exchange that was easily broken up by half-assed referees.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the match?
Very. It's really hard to find a word in the vocab that really just pinnacles how much it was just a bit meh.
Underwhelming?
Yes, actually. Especially when, for me, like, there was a little bit of hope there. There was a little bit of hope with
She means Test.
I don't mind D'Lo Brown at this time. I don't mind him.
Owen Hart?
Those two, yeah, exactly. Fuck off with Jeff Jarrett. But I was like, might be all right. It really wasn't.
No. I didn't care for the match, to be honest. And like I said, the story going into it was non-existent as well. Yeah. So I already didn't care on those grounds.
Yeah.
What did you score it then based on that?
1.
I think 1's fair. I'd probably go slightly higher than that, 1.25.
Okay.
But slightly less than the hardcore match, which you wouldn't expect to say at a WrestleMania event or any event, really, to be honest.
But we're going on my W, though, so we're going down.
Marginally.
We've got to go down again. It's too early for that.
Oh, it really is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I would have hoped for more. I'll put it that way. And again, I put it out there. Apart from one match, I think Owen's only ever had one good WrestleMania match, like really good WrestleMania with Bret.
Through no fault of his own.
No, he's only
just been booked on.
But as the Blue Blazer, the match with Mr. Perfect,
gosh, yeah.
a lot of people thought that was all right. I was so underwhelmed with that one.
Really?
I'm trying to think the other matches he's done. It's mainly tag team title matches, though, isn't it? Like he won with Yokozuna against the Smoking Guns.
Oh, yes.
He teamed with Vader and British Bulldog against Ahmed Johnson, Jake, and Yokozuna. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I feel like there should be... the title match with Triple H. European title match. Just none of them strike me as... That one was okay, actually, but that one with Bret was so far and away above... Like, to me, you could add all the others together, and I don't think they grade as high as that match. So it's a shame, because I'm aware of how good of a worker Owen was, and a nice person as well, so you'd hope for better for him. Like, Savage, I'm getting some of your boy in the show as well, started off ropey with his go with George the Animal Steel, but then he grew into have a series of really good matches. Owen never really got that, and I know he wasn't on Savage's level in terms of priority and booking. Yeah. But you just think with his abilities, he would have got something more than what he did. And it's a shame because obviously that was his swan song.
Of course.
Now we take a bit of a turn. Mm-hmm. A bit of a severe U-turn in terms of the proceedings on this one. And I'm just going to open this out there. Holly, have you ever heard of the Brawl for All before?
No, I'm pretty sure when I was watching this, I even texted you and was like, I'm so confused. What's going on?
I was more confused because at the time I'd not long come back from holiday and
you?
was still on match 2 of the show prior. So when you asked me,
I raced ahead, didn't I?
About a boxing match, I was like, "What the hell is she talking about?" I thought, "Oh my god, she's," because we hadn't even officially discussed.
No.
But when you told me you were doing that, I was like, "Shit, I better watch WrestleMania 15 next." It was potentially one of the worst ideas that was ever put into practice in professional wrestling, certainly in the WWF.
Why did they do this?
Vince Russo. So Vince Russo at the time had gone through, I want to say he's gone through the ranks, but he didn't really. So he was a writer at one point for the magazine under the name of Vic Venom. And basically he just was a madman in terms of his creative ideas, which was so far out there. And this was at a time, bearing in mind that the WWF really wanted to be competing with WCW, because WCW was starting to pull away from them in terms of ratings and success, etc., etc., that Vince's off-the-wall ideas, Vince being Russo in this case, his off-the-wall ideas had merit. Not all of them, definitely not all of them, but the edgy Attitude Era. I'm not saying he was the Attitude Era, but a lot of, basically all of his ideas fit that mould in terms of storyline booking, etc. Now, within the wrestling world, he is often lambasted by those that have worked within the industry and those that are fans like us that watch from outside. And everything that's bad around this time, people just go, that was a Russo idea. So, yeah. I may have an idea for like a mini-series, with Vince Russo being the topic du jour that we can discuss. But he's not going to be overly... I mean, there's a story that I've got for this Brawl for All, because you can't have the boxing match between Bart Gunn and Butterbean without talking about the Brawl for All that led to this particular match. Don't worry, you look confused. This is extensive enough that it will tell you everything about it.
Do I need to get comfy?
You get comfy, get your yawns out the way now, because I swear to God I'll throw things at you if you yawn.
Try. It's not because I'm bored, it's just relax.
Oh good, I'm the human Rohypnol to calming people down, so that's
also,
good.
Bear in mind I'm running on very little sleep this week.
Why would I go with Rohypnol?
I don't know.
I could have said
Chloroform?
any calming... Yeah, chloroform. I'm the human chloroform. I could have said those calms tablets. Other medications available. Lavender.
Yeah.
I'm the human lavender.
Yeah.
Doesn't quite have the same ring to it,
That could be your wrestling name.
The human lavender?
The human lavender.
No.
Nice purple gear.
I like purple.
Exactly.
I don't think... Why'd you do that? To look...
Purple.
Yeah.
Or that could be your sleeper hold. The name of your sleeper hold. The human lavender.
The Sweet Dreams.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, well that was a trip down
I'm ready.
unnecessaryville, but yeah, Vince Russo will get mentioned in this article for sure, but that's a topic really to dive into properly at another time. So this story is from Wrestling Inc. and it's an extensive story, so I'm just saying anyone who wants to go and read it, I mean I've got it here verbatim, but that is where this information was obtained from. Professional wrestling, boxing and mixed martial arts have long been married concepts. Much to the dismay of the WWE in recent years, MMA and the UFC have applied a stranglehold on the once lucrative pay-per-view market that WWE dominated its share of for decades. Prior to the UFC's pay-per-view explosion, there were conversations of potential buyouts of the UFC, Pride and Strikeforce by the WWE, but that never ended up happening. Instead, the lasting memory of mixed martial arts and WWE is the 1998 Brawl for All tournament. Well, sort of. A true sideshow, the Brawl for All was more like a tough man contest that you'd see at a local high school gym on a Saturday night than the UFC of today. 1 minute rounds, huge 16-ounce gloves, no submissions. WWE, then the WWF, also threw in a twist. Takedowns. Points were awarded, with 5 going to the fighter with the most punches landed in each round, another 5 for each clean takedown, and 10 for a knockdown. In the event of a knockout, the fight was mercifully called off. That would be mad if it didn't. Sorry, this is me segueing away. Imagine if they didn't call it off after a knockout. Yeah. The bouts were scored by ringside judges, supposedly free of bias. The conversation was always there, both among fans and the talent themselves. Who's really the toughest professional wrestler? The Brawl for All didn't answer that question, but it eliminated a few names from the running. Pro wrestlers long had the reputation of being tough guys, but the tournament looked to determine who was truly the toughest of the tough. Current WWE color commentator John Bradshaw Layfield, so that dates when this article was written, then known as Blackjack Bradshaw, may have inadvertently caused the entire tournament to take place. I wasn't a big fan of JBL because I thought he was a bully. said former WWE creative writer Vince Russo. I always knew he didn't like me too. We're there one day at TV shooting the crap and JBL makes the comment that if the WWE was like one big bar fight, he would whip everybody's ass in the back. Those words came directly out of his mouth. I'm not crazy about the guy to begin with, and I know there are some pretty tough guys in the locker room, so I let those words sink into my head for a few days. The next creative meeting, I pitched the Brawl for All to Vince McMahon. Bro. He didn't say bro. One of the few times he didn't. WWE chairman Vince McMahon, who had previously dabbled in bodybuilding and later in professional football and movies, took the idea very well. The same man would challenge UFC president Dana White, don't say Dana, because it's Dana over here for women, isn't it? Yeah. But Dana over there. Dana White to a shoot fight at WrestleMania years later. Russo said that the idea of a shoot tournament amped the WWE owner up. He loved it. Vince loves that stuff. Two guys fighting in a shoot, real competitive nature, bragging rights that tapped into his masculinity, something fierce. I didn't have to sell him on it. I didn't have to talk him into it. It was just like, how do we do this? Said Russo. Not everyone shared Russo and McMahon's enthusiasm for the tournament, most notably Jim Ross, who called the action on WWE's flagship Monday Night Raw and worked in talent relations, saw the idea as a nightmare. I didn't like it. You're mixing metaphors, Ross told me when talking about running a shoot fighting tournament during a predetermined wrestling show. The WWE had an incredibly top-heavy roster at the time with several huge stars, but it was clear to management those stars were off-limits for the tourney. The task of recruiting the field was assigned to long-time WWF employee and part-time on-screen character Bruce Pritchard. Obviously Steve Austin's not going to do it, Rock's not going to do it, Undertaker's not going to do it, Mankind's not going to do it, Hunter's not going to do it. I asked pretty much everyone if they wanted to be in it, some declined and some jumped at the opportunity, said Pritchard, after making it clear he vocally expressed his disdain of the tournament backstage. Finding willing participants wasn't hard. Those aforementioned stars took up a lot of time on TV each week, and many who weren't given that time saw this as an opportunity to be thrust into the limelight. Many wanted to prove they were truly skilled or just flat out tough. Oh yeah, they were given substantial bonuses too. It came down to dollars and cents, Russo explained. You pay the guys, you give them a bonus to be in the Brawl for All, the further they got along, the more money they made. That's how we enticed them to sign on the dotted line. Not everyone was convinced by WWE's bonuses, and a few names of the time you'd expect to jump at the chance didn't actually do that. Former UFC star Ken Shamrock, who was then known as the world's most dangerous man, didn't flinch when the WWE offered him allegedly $50,000 to participate in the tournament. Shamrock pointed to trust issues as well as a drastic pay cut from his days in the UFC as reasons for that. Speculated payoffs of their talents ranged from $5,000 just to fight and $100,000 to win the tournament. Pritchard said that everyone was given the same amount. When I was asked to do that, I was like, okay, $50,000? It didn't seem right to me that I would go into this tournament-style fighting thing. I was a professional and beat these amateur guys up. That's why I didn't do it. Why are you asking me to do this? I just came into pro wrestling and I'm learning this craft, and now you want me to go in there and do a complete 360, 180, and beat these guys up for $50,000 when I'm used to making $500,000 to $1 million. None of it made any sense to me, Shamrock said. Bob Holly has been on the record saying he was personally offered $5,000 to fight. As it turns out, Ken Shamrock may have not been allowed in the tournament at all originally. WWE execs thought that including him and fellow UFC star Dan Severn would make for a possibly unfair competition. Management came and said the only people who weren't going to be allowed to do it are Ken Shamrock and Dan Severn, so originally I was banned, Severn said. I didn't stick around. Whenever I found out I wasn't in it, I left and went back to the locker room. Several weeks into this Brawl for All sequence, I'm just in the back laying or something, probably using my duffel bag as a pillow. One of the road agents came up to me and said, "How would you like to be in the Brawl for All tonight?" I said, "Against who and how much?" They told me and I said, "Done deal." When Shamrock and Severn were banned from participating, the plan had been for the tournament to be done MMA style. According to Jim Ross, state athletic commissions began to step in and the tournament rules had to be drastically changed. This opened the door to the former UFC stars to be invited back to participate. Severn accepted, Shamrock did not. The original field looked rough. WWE newcomer and former NFL player Darren Drozdoff, former WWE Tag Champions turned lower card wrestlers Mark Canterbury, Bob Holly and Bart Gunn. Mark Canterbury was, I'm just making sure I get the right one, Phineas from the Godwins. Or was he? Yeah, I think he was Phineas. He wasn't Henry Godwin. He was Phineas. Okay. Bob Holly and Bart Gunn. One-Eyed Pierre Oulet, 8-Ball, Scorpio, Bradshaw, all who had indistinguishable runs with the company, and a suspiciously huge newcomer in Brackus. I won't go into Brackus now. Yeah. He just looked like an absolute slab of meat. According to Bob Holly in his book, The Hardcore Truth, Tiger Ali Singh was originally set for the tournament after bragging about his background and ended up backing out, leaving the spot open for Holly. There were a few names of interest that signed up though. Road Warrior Hawk was one half of the most intimidating tag teams of all time and had an image to uphold. Mark Mero had a legit boxing background as a Golden Gloves champion. Dr. Death Steve Williams was a 4-time All-American wrestler. The Godfather and Steve Blackman had at least portrayed shoot fighters on TV at some point, although the general public had no idea if their accomplishments were real or not. Vince Russo thinks that the perception of these talents played a role in their choices. The guys who had reputations as badasses, could you imagine if they didn't sign up for it? You have a locker room full of talent, this is a shoot. It's time to put up or shut up. If you're as bad as you want people to think you are, it's time. In a guy like Road Warrior Hawk's case, I think he really didn't have a choice, Russo said. As mentioned, the original rules recommendations were for MMA-style bouts before they were changed. Steve Blackman, I don't know why I emphasised man there, began training accordingly, planning on taking his opponent's knees out with kicks. When Blackman revealed his game plan to WWF management, they decided more strict rules should be put in place in order to protect their talents. It didn't work. Either way, the Brawl for All was off to the races. The fights weren't pretty, the combatants were not skilled, and the crowd was not entertained. If anything, the live audience seemed confused. Just minutes in, the project looked like it was a complete failure. The comparisons to Tough Man contests were well founded. Bradshaw versus Mark Canterbury and Droz versus Hawk were slop fests. Droz fought with his chin straight up in the air, throwing punches from his hips, and Hawk's fundamental striking was laughable for someone who'd intimidated the world of wrestling for 15 years. The fighters were exhausted after only 1-minute rounds. Danny Hodge, who served as a referee, looked embarrassed to be involved. By the end of the opening round of bouts, matches were being taped before Raw and shown in brief clips instead of live. There were a couple of bright spots in the first round too. Dan Severn looked like he had something to prove, and despite having a takedown stuffed by the Godfather, he dominated the match. Steve Blackman spammed takedowns on the former Golden Gloves boxer Mark Mero on his way to a victory. Although he wasn't technically sound, Savio Vega completely dominated Brackus, who looked jacked to the gills. The company also used the opening round to try to work some interesting angles and storylines. Hawk and Droz fought to a draw, Droz advanced, and had been working a bit of a rivalry on screen prior. Bart Gunn and Bob Holly had been tag partners for a while, and the Godfather, a wrestling pimp, was flocked by hoes during his entrance. The matchups, at least, were just the luck of the draw. We did the brackets in my office with everybody's name on a piece of paper put in a bag, Pritchard said. Savio Vega actually drew the names and had 2 others witness it. We did a legit blind draw to do brackets. They didn't want me or an agent or anyone connected with it for fear of people calling it a work. Dr. Death Steve Williams won his fight, but it wasn't a work of art by any stretch. Still, he was considered an odds-on favourite to win the thing, maybe even a ringer, so it wasn't surprising. What was surprising was that his opponent, Pierre Oulet, had one eye, was even allowed to fight. I couldn't even begin to tell you the rationale behind it, said Pritchard of Oulet. He wanted to be in it, it scared the shit out of me, and against Doc, there's not an athletic commission in the world that would allow that. Despite the oversight, no pun intended, the WWE had Dr. Death, Steve Blackman... Why do I keep saying it like that? Blackman, Dan Severn and Bradshaw among the names advancing to the second round. Not so bad if you're booking a shoot tournament full of perceived tough guys, even looking back today. Unfortunately, that didn't last. Go ahead and mark a few names off that list. Dan Severn and Steve Blackman, gone from the running. Blackman was the first injury casualty, as he hurt himself training with an oversized opponent in preparation for his second round fight with Bradshaw, although some thought he simply dropped out because of the rule changes. Even though Mark Mero had a poor showing against Blackman in the first round, the former Golden Gloves boxer replaced him. Miro's Brawl for All run was ended again after a controversial second round loss to Bradshaw. Bradshaw had attempted to intimidate Miro in their pre-fight stare-down and bulled his way to a few takedowns, but Miro's crisp boxing forced a draw and an extra round, which Bradshaw won. The former boxer had been taken out twice, but he said there was more than met the eye. Miro was furious backstage and felt as if the move was a political hit against him, as he'd been getting grief backstage about then-wife Rena Sable Miro being more over than him with the crowds. Pritchard said that Bradshaw asked Miro if he wanted to give it another go backstage before cooler heads prevailed. Miro wanted to knock Bradshaw out so bad he was missing. He was missing? That's literally what it says word for word. Miro wanted to knock Bradshaw out so bad he was missing, Pritchard said. We had 4 judges who were told how to score. Oh, as in like he was wildly swinging, okay. I assume. We had 4 judges who were told how to score. It was unanimous that Bradshaw beat him on takedowns. He was livid backstage and Bradshaw called him out on it. Then nothing happened. The only one who was a sore loser was Miro. Droz would win a fun fight over Savio Vega that saw the crowd get behind him, and the Godfather showed some promise in a victory over former WCW Tag Team Champion Scorpio. However, after only 1 TKO in the first round and 3 fights going to the scorecards in round 2, the aura of unpredictability that was heavily promoted didn't seem to be there. Anytime you see guys go in there and fight each other and you don't know anything about them, you're going to have one of those guys and go, wow, he can hit hard. Someone's always going to have that sneaky power, and it ended up being Bart Gunn. Did it ever? Ken Shamrock told of Bart Gunn. Bart Gunn was and still is a mountain of a man. His 6'4", 265-pound frame, calm down Holly, would dwarf any normal man. But in the land of the giants, that was the WWF, his size was nothing special. He entered the company 5 years prior as part of a successful tag team with Billy Gunn, becoming 3-time WWF Tag Team Champions. The duo split and their careers took drastically different turns. Billy would be a prominent character while Bart would struggle to get on television. Gunn faced his then tag team partner Bob Holly in the first round of the tournament, winning by points. There was nothing really to write home about his performance, or at least seemed that it was time. There was nothing really to write home about his performance, or at least it seemed at the time. Heads were turned literally and figuratively in round 2. After a close back and forth fight with Steve Williams, who was now the tournament favourite, Gunn knew he needed a finish to get the win. Gunn, tag team partner Holly, and countless personalities backstage had suspected that the deck would be stacked against Williams' opponents, although they couldn't prove it. Gunn eliminated all doubt with his left hand by viciously knocking out Williams near the end of the fight. The wrestling world was stunned, even backstage. Stunned and possibly overjoyed based on who you talk to, the story of Steve Williams and the Brawl for All is one that lives on in wrestling lore. We were happy for Bart, and everyone popped like a 1985 Road Warrior entrance. Everyone felt like it was designed for Doc to win it. That's been denied, and I believe JR about that, but I don't believe for 1 second most were assuming Bart would win, said Sean Waltman, who was in the WWE as X-Pac at the time. Former WWE creative writer Vince Russo corroborated Waltman's account and expanded on why the talent was so happy to see Williams lose. JR carried on in the back for weeks and weeks and weeks about how Dr. Death was going to destroy everybody. The boys got so sick of hearing it that they were rooting against Dr. Death. Everyone wanted to see Dr. Death taken out, and it had nothing to do with Dr. Death. Sweetheart of a guy. Everybody loved Steve Williams, but the way JR put over Steve Williams, people wanted to see him get his lights knocked out. JR was so over the top in what Dr. Death was going to do to people, Russo said. As Waltman mentioned, for nearly 2 decades since, the narrative has been that either the WWE wanted Steve Williams to win, or at the very least Jim Ross did. I was learning as it went on that it was supposed to be an entry deal for Dr. Death Steve Williams, a way to introduce him into the WWF again, said Dan Seven, confirming that the locker room buzz was similar to the information passed down over the years. Jim Ross told me he wasn't as worried about Williams losing as he was about the injury Dr. Death sustained. The Dr. Death storyline was that JR was angry when Dr. Death got beat, Ross said. I was angry that he tore his quadriceps from the knee. We have a 40-something-year-old wrestler that we want to bring in for one more run, and now that whole investment is gone. Had nothing with him losing, had everything to do with him getting injured and never being the same again. Ross isn't wrong. The tournament did much more than just abandon traditional format and lose the interest of the audience. It put several of the participants on the WWE disabled list. Williams was out for 7 months and would only wrestle 3 more matches for the WWE. Dr. Death wasn't the only one put on the shelf because of the Brawl for All tournament either. Steve Blackman got hurt and was shelved for 3 months. Hawk was out of the ring for over 4 weeks, Droz for 3. One of the scariest injuries was suffered by the Godfather, who was Bart Gunn's latest left hook victim. He'd missed 3 months after a terrifying knockout. He hit that man so hard his eyes rolled into the back of his head. I've never seen anybody get hit that hard in my life, Russo remembered. I don't think we thought that through. If half the roster gets fucked up, it didn't really affect our creative plans though. Even though those who weren't hurt, like Brackers, Savio Vega, Mark Canterbury and Pierre Oulet, were barely seen in the WWE again. Most of the talents used weren't factored into the WWE's creative landscape. Still, the WWE's early ringer, the one who the Brawl for All was going to be used as a vehicle for, had been defeated. Steve Williams was down and out. Prior to the fight, Gunn was intimidated, but for the wrong reasons. Bart called me the week before and asked me that would he get fired if he knocked out Dr. Death, Pritchard said. He said, I know this was set up for Doc and he's the chosen one, but I'll knock him out. One person that was said to be upset was former world champion Terry Funk, who actually picked Bart Gunn to win the Brawl for All, who felt that wrestlers and crew members backstage disrespected Dr. Death with the 1984 Road Warrior pop in response to his knockout. Despite the lukewarm audience reaction, the Brawl for All was a curtain sellout amongst active roster participants. 75% of the time, backstage, nobody is watching. When a Brawl for All fight was going on, it was standing room only, Vince Russo said. You had to fight to get a spot in front of the monitor because all the boys were so into it. Despite the interest backstage, many talents still shared Ross and Pritchard's sentiments that the Brawl for All was a bad idea. Shoot fights during a work program confused the audience and also seemed to undermine the point of the show. Waltman remembers his feelings on the tournament. It was the dumbest fucking idea in WWE history. These guys are fighting for real and everything else you watched is bullshit. That's basically what they're telling everyone watching. That the injuries and having guys fighting each other that are supposed to be working with each other is just the dumbest fucking thing I can ever remember in my years in wrestling. Real fucking easy for guys that have never fought, let alone been real pro wrestlers, to think that shit up while they're sitting around playing Dungeons and Dragons in a writing meeting to come up with that dumbass fucking bullshit. They don't have to suffer any of the consequences. Is it any wonder no one wants to take full credit for that abortion of a fucking idea? Waltman said. Strong thoughts. Waltman reminds us of yet another overlooked aspect of the Brawl for All tournament. Ken Shamrock and Dan Severn had been pro wrestlers in the past, but transitioned from the world of no-holds-barred fighting, a precursor to today's mixed martial arts, which has regulations and rule sets. Many WWE talents weren't sure if they could trust the former UFC stars in a scripted environment. When I got approached about it, I was disappointed, Shamrock said. It took me a long time to be able to build trust with the different people I got in the ring with and would wrestle with. They're trying to do this fight that's real, but they're not professional fighters and they're going out there and mixing it with their jobs. It put a lot of pressure on them to perform and do both. I felt bad for them. If the hardcore truth is to be believed, the fact that Jim Ross was putting over Steve Williams backstage wasn't the only reason Dr. Death had started getting resentment backstage. Holly also has publicly stated that many talents felt as if the scorecards were being generously tilted in favour of Williams. Williams himself brought the issues about as he told Holly that he was already paid to win the tournament. I spoke to Bob Holly, who had written in his book that Dr. Death got paid ahead of the Brawl for All, and he didn't hear me say it. He didn't hear the office say it, Jim Ross explained. Dr. Death told him that. The wrestlers are the wrestlers. One of the great arguments and controversies in any wrestling locker room is the wrestlers to talk about their paydays with their peers. They rarely tell the truth and are embellishing their pay to look better than their peers. I love Doc like a brother, but he's no different than any of the other boys. He wanted to make himself look better than he was. Despite the rumours that Williams started about being paid ahead of time and the hype surrounding him, he was still well regarded and heavily respected backstage. He wasn't necessarily the favourite to win among talents though. I felt awful for Doc, Waltman said. He was such a good man and I don't think he wanted to do it any more than half the other guys who were asked and afraid to say no. Blackman was all for it and probably would have won if they hadn't changed the rules halfway through. I'm pretty sure Blackman said, "Fuck this," when they changed the rules. Pritchard agreed with Waltman, saying, "I think Blackman would have won it if Steve would have stayed in. Steve is tough on all fronts. He's a good grappler and lightning fast." But Blackman was gone. Severn was gone. Shamrock couldn't be financially convinced. Dr. Death had been defeated. Bart Gunn didn't care. He kept knocking people out. Bart Gunn had defeated his own tag team partner in Bob Holly, knocked out the early favourite in Dr. Death Steve Williams, ruined at least one higher-up's plans, and then brutally KO'd and shelved the Godfather. The finals were pretty much a formality. In the words of Holly, Bart Gunn knocked Bradshaw out colder than a well-digger's arse. Bart Gunn was the Brawl for All champion, and his left hook would forever be associated with the tourney. The prize, outside of the bonus cash, wasn't much of a prize at all. Gunn was scheduled to face well-known pro boxer Eric Butterbean Esch at WrestleMania 15, which was right in the middle of one of WWE's hottest periods of the time. The fight was going to have standard Brawl for All rules, meaning Gunn could take down Butterbean, who wasn't an experienced wrestler. What do you make of all of that?
Flip heck. It's a lot of information to take in.
It is. Apologies because that was a long one, but I felt like it was necessary.
Yeah, no.
There was never a better time to tell this story.
Absolutely. And it made sense to, for one of my questions, I was like, why is this happening? Why?
Fair question. Well,
So,
now you know.
At least now I know.
Now you know too much, if anything.
Well, yes. So effectively, it was just a different thing to do, and the people, the wrestlers that worked there were just offered more money to do it.
It was a dick measuring contest for those backstage, I think,
If
personally.
you weren't getting a lot of TV time,
Get a lot of TV
then
time,
get
show
some
that
extra
you're show that you're tough by knocking other guys out in a world which is supposed to be considered full of tough men. Who's the toughest of those?
Yeah.
So it's interesting, but what I found fascinating was that how many people, a few people said Bart Gunn will do well, but not only that they said if Steve Blackman had carried on in the tournament,
then,
he would have won. It's mad to think that this even got given the light of the day, and the fact that they then persisted with it, I guess because they were too proud to say, do you know what, this was actually an awful idea, let's not do this. It's one of the strangest things to ever happen in the WWF, and that's even in comparison with Mae Young giving birth to a rubber glove. So, says a lot, and like I said, we'll dive into Vince Russo and his other follies at a later date. So all of that, Holly, leads us to this moment, and the promo package that flicks between monochrome and full Technicolor shows us clips of both Butterbean and Bart Gunn. What was going through your head when you saw this was on the show?
What the fuck? And also, this is one of those moments where I go, I wish I was drinking right now.
You didn't have a drink either?
No.
That is
chocolate.
Nor chocolate?
No.
Oh my God, are you okay?
No. Not after this.
Well, at least when you messaged me your concern, shall we say,
Yes.
you said, how the fuck am I going to take notes for this? Like jab straight? What?
Yeah.
I said, don't worry, won't last long.
No, and my notes literally are this.
Yes, that's pretty much the extent of it.
7 bullet points.
The clip is laced with people making predictions on the outcome of the fight, with a number of those who had trained Gunn siding with him. The camera focuses on Isaac Hayes in the crowd as the promo ends, and we are then shown 2 of the members of the Mean Street Posse. In the ring, Howard Finkel introduces us to the Tasmanian Devil, Vinny Pazienza, who looks like he has come straight from the Jersey Shore to referee this contest. Really, very much that vibe to me. The outside judges for the contest are now introduced, starting with Kevin Rooney. Chuck Wepner. Do you know about Chuck Wepner? No. So Chuck Wepner is a former heavyweight boxer. The Bayern Bleeder, I think he was called, because he was known to bleed a lot, and was the inspiration for the Rocky character.
Oh.
Played by Sylvester Stallone.
Okay.
I think they even had legal battles about it later down the line.
See.
And finally, the Win Twice wrestling favourite, Gorilla Monsoon.
That was the highlight of this whole package for me, I'll be honest.
I love this man, but seeing him here made me sad because he looked unwell.
He does look old and aged.
In fact, it was only 6 months after this that he sadly passed away from heart failure as a result of complications from diabetes.
Oh, sad.
Wonderful reception for a Gorilla, and it warmed my heart to see and hear it. The match, the fight, Butterbean versus Bart Gunn, Brawl for All rules.
I'm just going to put it out there now. This made me feel really fucking uncomfortable watching this.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't mind boxing. I really don't mind it, actually. But because I didn't know the background, I didn't know any of this, I was like, are they just putting a fucking wrestler in the ring with...
Yeah, of course.
With some guy that's... I didn't know who this guy was either, but I was like, I assume he's an actual boxer.
Yes.
And I was just like, this is very odd. And then obviously what happened. And I was like, this makes me feel really fucking uncomfortable now. So
I'm not going to do Butterbean disservice, but he's kind of considered a freak show fighter.
Okay.
So he would often be in shorter round fights and be up against guys that looked basically like Bart Gunn, who were boxers, and Butterbean would smash them all. He would absolutely smash them all.
Okay.
He was a heavy hitter, shall we say. And you look at him and you go, you're kind of still surprised. Like, I've seen him knock out a lot of people and I still get surprised, but he does. Anyway, Holly, now it's time to see the culmination of the Brawl for All and the reward bestowed upon Bart Gunn for shelving a number of WWE talent. Butterbean makes his way to the ring first, and he's adorned in patriotic trim for this fight. Now let me tell you, if you thought King Kong Bundy was an egg, he is, because I like Butterbean and he's a scary, scary man. Now it's the turn of former Smoking Gunn, who makes his way to the ring in blue and gold. Cole explains the point system, which really tickled me as I know how this one pans out, and we see Vinny read the instructions to both men in the centre of the ring. One thing I will say about this that I did like is the arena aesthetics. They make the ring look like a boxing ring and dim the lights in the crowd so the sole focus is on what happens in the middle between the two men.
Yes, I do agree. I did like that.
The bell sounds and straight away Butterbean claps Bart twice, sending him into a semi-spin, and I reckon it was at this moment he thought to himself, what the fuck am I doing here? Butterbean is changing levels and offloading to the body, whilst Bart is far too rigid and upright, although he does hit a decent left jab. It would have been more impressive if he wasn't immediately clocked with a big right that has him doing the stanky leg, and the following combination has Gunn fall to his knees. Butterbean has his arms up in the air as Vinny begins the count and generously allows Bart to continue when he's up at a delayed count of 9. He was not up.
No, he was not.
He was not up, but he was allowed to get up. An even more rigid Bart walks towards Butterbean, and as King shouts, "If I were you, I would go for a takedown," the big man lands an overhand right that sends Gunn into another dimension, and he timbers to the canvas.
Oh, horrible.
The crowd erupt, and this one is comprehensively over.
Do you know what I hate about that, though, is the fact that when he goes down, his neck goes right over those ropes. We've all fucking seen $1 Million Baby. We know how that finishes. But I was like, firstly, the neck
I haven't
thing.
actually, but...
Have you not?
No, but there's a boxer that this did happen to.
And it's... That's all I can think of when I saw that. I was like, if his neck is fully fucking relaxed, he's fucking done. That was horrendous. Which I guess afterwards as well, there were so many people there. Like, and obviously you see Gorilla being there, like, are you okay? Are you okay? And
yep.
we're like, fucking hell, it's horrible.
Well, at least he didn't do what Kurt Angle did and go, did I win? Did I win?
They didn't fucking bring a stretcher out for him, did they?
No, they did not.
Should have done.
Oh, dearie me. Butterbean is celebrating as the medics attend to Bart on the canvas. 2 minutes later, and Bart still looks to be in another planet. And I'm not surprised. The way he fell was lucky he didn't do some serious injury to himself.
And they keep showing it. I don't want to see it more than once.
Butterbean is your winner by knockout in round 1. What do you think?
I don't want to see that ever again.
No?
No, never. The concept of it, I can't say I understand it, but it's different. It's fine. The fact for me is seeing what happened to him. I hate that. That's horrible.
If he didn't, let's say, if he didn't hit his neck on the rope.
If he'd have been more central in the ring, fine.
Okay.
Like, I don't mind.
Well, that's just
boxing,
the risk of
do you know what
boxing.
I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just, for me, I was just a bit like, no, it's a bit much.
No star rating?
No, of course not. It wasn't a match.
This wasn't even rated as a match by Dave Meltzer.
Good.
I've always thought the concept of the Brawl for All was bizarre and wondered if Butterbean got any negative reaction backstage from the way things unfolded at WrestleMania. So what I decided to do, in order to find out, was ask him.
Hey, Scott, Holly, how y'all doing? Hey, let me tell you about WrestleMania. It was crazy. It was a real shoot fight. It don't happen very much. And matter of fact, my understanding, it's the only real fight ever to happen at WrestleMania. Kind of cool. But the thing is, they wanted me to knock him out. It was a real fight. They didn't care what really happened. They just wanted an exciting fight, and they got it. When I was walking to the ring, oh, man, I caught all kind of heat from the fans. This fat guy, he's going to get killed. Butterbean's going to go down. Yada, yada, and it pissed me off. And Bart, he didn't have the greatest attitude anyhow, thinking he was going to beat me and move on and become a professional fighter, which he did. He went on and fought. He done really well, actually. But, you know, he just pissed me off. The fans did. And it's the worst thing to do is piss a fighter off when they're going in the ring. And Bart didn't even try to brawl. He just come out trying to box. And I went out brawling, which everybody knows I knocked him out really bad, brutally. I had all the wrestlers come in my room just saying, what a badass you are. Steve, Stone Cold come in my dressing room probably 20 different times. You're a badass. And then he'd run out and leave. He'd come back and do it again. So, no, I got great response. They were all tickled to death that I knocked him out. Some were glad. Some were friends with him. A few of them talked about me in their books afterwards, how him and Austin had, Kane, matter of fact, had a book out about it. How that I knocked him out and that there was no way that he was going to win. So, yeah, it was a great night. I had a lot of fun doing it. I'd knock him out again if the opportunity comes.
So my favourite part of that, there's two things that I really like. So thank you, Butterbean, for the response to the question there. And that was actually your first time hearing it, wasn't it? What I really liked, two parts. First part was saying if the opportunity came up to knock him out again, he would. So I didn't think there was that kind of animosity, but I thought it was a great sign-off. Yeah. The other bit is just the idea of Stone Cold being an excited little child backstage and just running, especially when we see what he comes out to the ring in later on with just T-shirt and pants, just popping his head into the locker room going, "You're badass!" and then walking off and then coming back and doing it again. It just pleases me. Whether that happened or not, I don't know. I'll take his word for it. But that's just fantastic. So, yes, thank you very much, Mr. Butterbean. From one level of bizarre to another. Let's talk about the famous chicken for a minute here, Holly. I take it you had no idea what the shit is going on with this man in a chicken suit, right?
Yeah.
The famous San Diego chicken, also known as the Chicken or the KGB Chicken, is an iconic sports mascot played by Ted Giannoulis. Giannoulis, I'm going to say. The character originated in 1974 as part of an animated TV commercial for KGB FM radio in San Diego. Ted Giannoulis, then a 20-year-old journalism major, first donned the chicken suit for a promotional event at the San Diego Zoo. His antics quickly became a hit, leading to regular appearances at San Diego Padre games, where he entertained fans with his comedic improvisation and interactions with players and umpires. The chicken's popularity soared, good choice of wording, making him a beloved figure in sports and entertainment. Over the years, Giannoulis has performed in all 50 states, 8 countries, and over 900 locations, wearing out more than 100 chicken suits in the process.
Okay.
That's it.
Oh, okay.
I just needed to give you some background on why someone in a fucking chicken suit.
it was bizarre, but I'd just seen something that was also bizarre, so my brain was...
Enter the Twilight Zone. Vinny, who is still in the ring, does go to shake the chicken's hand, but the chicken pulls his hand away and taunts him, patting him on the arse in the process. Cole warns him that Vinny is a former lightweight champion, and King responds, well, the chicken is a former featherweight champion himself. I laughed.
Cool.
Vinny hits a swift uppercut to the beak of the chicken, who hits the canvas before jumping back to his feet and running around before taking another hit. As this continues, we are now shown footage from heat of Big Show brawling backstage with Mankind. They fall over a metal desk in an ungainly heap and eventually regain their feet and continue to exchange right hands and headbutts.
That had me dying with laughter because you can see that Show is literally actually stuck. Like he's half over and half up in the air. And I literally was like, if you're like Foley the other side of that, you're definitely fucking laughing.
What I found the most funny part of that was we see Stone Cold arrive in the background, stare at them, and just walk in the other direction.
So funny.
That was not badass. The cameras now take us to the locker room area where a tuxedoed Kevin Kelly is interviewing Mankind. Kevin asks Mankind about the hurdles he's had to face to get to a WrestleMania main event. Mankind says he was told he would have to beat The Undertaker, which he did. He was then told he had to beat Stone Cold, and despite the controversial ending, he beat Stone Cold. And now Vince McMahon throws the biggest hurdle yet in his way in the Big Show. Mankind says he tried to play nice, but now Big Show will see an angry young man and tells Big Show to think about that and try to have a nice day. I got confused for this bit because they did say about Mankind trying to get to a main event. And I thought there wasn't a jeopardy of turning this into a triple threat. And then I realised it was for the officiating spot as the special guest referee. We get to the match. Big Show versus Mankind. The winner, special ref for the main event.
I mean, is that really a prize? More work. Way.
Well, I assume Mankind is doing it for he wants to be on the side of justice to make sure everything's fair, Big Show will probably get, in storyline, paid more money from Vince McMahon to make sure that the right person walks away with the title. And let's dive into this one.
Oh, let's.
Immediately you can tell this was early in the Big Show's run for the Federation as he comes out to the Vince McMahon Corporation music.
It did confuse me, yes.
And I genuinely forgot he even had it at all. Holly is taken to a happy place as we hear din 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 din.
Yeah.
And that signals the arrival of Mankind. No sooner has Mankind entered the ring, he has to duck a right hand from the Big Show and unloads with a number of his own as the referee signals for the opening bell. Mankind hits the ropes and hits a big forearm, but Show only staggers. A clothesline that follows merely does the same, and Cole says he's trying to knock down the big tray. I think he was going for tree, but it had me stumped there for a while. See what I did?
Yes.
Mankind's third attempt sees him run into a big boot and puts him on the canvas. Foley chant early on shows where the crowd is aligned in this one. Headbutt from Show sends Mankind falling between the ropes and to the floor, which always makes you shake your head, I notice.
I hate it when he does that.
What about it?
It makes me so, like...
Uncontrolled fall, basically.
Yeah.
Is that a cheerleading thing that kicks in for you, do you think?
I don't know. It's just... I don't know. I think because everyone else's falls are so, like, orchestrated. Or, like, oh, fall over, roll out. Whereas Foley just absolutely backwards topples through these ropes. And no fucking wonder he's bashed and been put back together more times than I could count.
Yeah, fair enough.
Just makes me feel a certain way.
I quite like it.
I'd be done.
Fair enough.
Have me fall through them ropes backwards. I'd be like, you can have this. I'm out.
Show follows and Mankind runs and hits him with a right hand, but the big man is soon back in control. Mankind looks to send Show face first into the stairs, but it's initially blocked until a number of swift rights from the masked man free him up to hit the move on the second attempt. Twice, in fact. Mankind looks to hit a double-arm DDT, but Show runs him into the stairs and he goes flying head over heels. Speaking of backwards falls.
Yep.
Back in the ring, and Show has him backed in the corner with a right to the gut and two monstrous overhand slaps. Elbow to the back of the head sees Mankind collapse in the middle of the ring, and he does the same when Show uses his knee to drive Mankind's head into it. Side Russian leg sweep by Show, and he is fully in control of this one. He backs Mankind up against the ropes but misses with a clothesline and goes over the top to the floor himself. Holly. It's Mr. Socko time. Mankind applies the sock from his pants, and as Big Show looks to climb back into the ring, finds the sock shoved down his throat. Now, I have always had a problem with this move. Not so much... It's bad enough someone putting their fingers in your mouth, but put the sock in your fucking pocket. The fuck are you putting it down your sweaty gunt? What you doing?
Gooch sweat.
Oh, unbelievable. Not a fan. So he's applied it. Big Show looks to climb back into the ring, finds the sock shoved down his throat. Yep. The big man manages to headbutt his way free. Show looks for a standing double axe handle, but Mankind reapplies the mandible claw. Although he appeared to be fading, Show fires off one big right hand that breaks the grip.
I have a question.
Go for it.
And it's not really a question. It's just a statement. The mandible claw.
Yes.
It shows Big Show literally like falling to his knees, getting like sleepy. Why?
Yeah.
I don't fall asleep at the dentist.
Okay, but how many times is a dentist putting a mandible claw on you?
But why? But
there's a nerve. There's a nerve under the tongue.
Okay. There's the question.
I guess that's because Britt Baker does the same thing.
To me, it's a test of your gag reflex. I'll be honest.
No, because it's just under the tongue. They're pressing
like
down
the back of the teeth.
Yeah.
I see.
And they press down, and I assume it's because of the pain of it that makes you pass out.
Okay.
That would be
the question.
I think that's my logic.
I've always wondered because I'm like, it's just a suck in your mouth.
Yeah.
You'd be good doing the gag roll. Yeah, exactly, rather than sleeping.
Yeah.
Okay.
There. Third time it's locked in, and as Show looks to pull back for a strike, Mankind kicks him in the dick, which, you guessed it, referee Earl Hebner did not call.
Okay, thank you.
Don't worry, Earl Hebner appears a few times. Big Show falls to one knee and is clawing for the ropes, but Mankind traps his arm and he's wilting. Foley chant, but more importantly than that, Holly, can you do the shorter honours?
Oh, he's sleepy?
Is he asleep?
And that's
He's
it.
awake?
He just has a little nap.
Little nap, back to. Show powers up with Mankind on his back and jumps, falling backwards, driving all the air out of his lungs. That is a great way to break some ribs right there. Yokozuna's interested. The cameras close in on Mankind, who sounds like he's really struggling for air. Big Show moves towards him and stomps and kicks away against the ropes. The action now goes to the outside, where Show gives him a swift kick to the ribs. He grabs a chair and drives it back into the ribs of Mankind.
So, I don't understand what is the word? Stipulations of this match.
Again, Hebner doesn't call it, so I'll assume this is no DQ.
Right, okay.
It's very wishy-washy in the Attitude Era.
Yeah, do what you fucking like, apparently.
Well, up to a certain point, because you'll see what comes next. Huge chair shot to the back, and King says he should be careful as he runs the risk of disqualification, so I really don't know what the rules are now. A second chair is thrown into the ring, and Mankind is rolled in after it. The warp chair is set up, and so is the second opposite it. Show grabs Mankind by the neck and chokeslams him on the seats. Apparently, that is the line in Earl's head, and this one is called off. Big Show has been disqualified, although that doesn't stop him wailing away with a chair on the victor. When Show realises he's been disqualified, he marches after Hebner, who quickly takes his leave and calls him a stupid bitch as about 1.5 litres of saliva cascades out of his food hole. He throws the chair after him as well. Mankind is now the scheduled official for the main event. I've got the antics that come after it next, but What did you think of this match? What did you score it?
1.25.
Generous.
I know it was generous. I just didn't understand what was going on. Like, how was something that really occupies my mind. Like, how are some things allowed, some things aren't? It just boggled me. Also, this was a bit of a shit match, but like,
it was a shit match.
Shit.
So Dave scored it 0.75.
Fine, yeah.
I don't know if it is. I'd go half a star. I really didn't.
Okay.
The only saving grace was that it was short.
Yeah.
To me, but anyway. As Show looks to leave, we see an irate Mr. McMahon appear at the entrance and walk his way to the ring. He questions Earl Hebner why he couldn't control this, and we now see that he was fleeing. No. He questions Earl Hebner why he couldn't control this, and we now see that as he was fleeing, Hebner injured his leg because of course he did.
Yeah, standard.
I'd like to think that it was caught by the chair from Show throwing it out after him, but he's probably just jumped, landed funny, and done his ankle again.
He's got time for a little rest.
We have had, this is our 44th show, I've seen Hebner injure his leg twice. Not all the shows have featured Hebner. That's not a good ratio.
But is he always in the sandwich?
This gets referenced later. Do not worry about Mr. Manwich. McMahon is heard saying to Show, "What were you doing?" He says he doesn't give a damn about Mankind, who's still in a heap in the ring, but asks if he has any idea what he has just done. Vince says he could have cost him the WWF title, although he says he still won't let that happen. Show goes to leave, but Vince stops him and tells him not to walk away from him. The look on Show's face changes, and when Vince calls him a nobody, the big man has him by the throat and picks him up into the air. But he stops. Thinks about it before putting Vince back on his feet and letting him go. Vince says, "Please do not make any more mistakes, damn it," and is pointing his finger right at him.
No.
Arsehole. Arsehole. Vince calls him a nobody again and slaps him, which Show immediately responds to with a big right hand.
Of course.
Cole on commentary shouts, "That is the second knockout of tonight," and if Bart Gunn even knew what year he was in, that might have upset him a little bit. As Big Show walks backstage, he warns Pat Patterson and Gerald Briscoe that nobody owns him. The two Stooges go to check on the condition of their boss, as we now see replays of the end of the match. Vince, who is slowly coming to, is being helped out the ring, and we now see the replay of Vince getting punched. Elsewhere, Mankind is strapped to a stretcher that wasn't used for Bart Gunn.
Oh, so fucking
That's why they didn't
ridiculous.
use it, because they needed it for this.
Poor guy.
I love that. The guy who was legitimately fucked out of his skull. Brilliant. And Vince struggles his way backstage. New drinking game. Every time Vince says, "damn it," on this show, have a shot.
Every time I see a fucking stretcher, I'm going to drink at this rate.
Well, you're done now.
Well, for this show.
Yes. We would both be under the table already if this were the case. The cameras take us backstage with Vince, who is sitting down, and Pat asks him what they'll do about the main event now. Gerald, who is dusting Vince's blazer down, asks, "What are we going to do now, Mr. McMahon?" It's like Tommy Lee Jones, but not quite. That's how he sounds.
You're not wrong.
Vince says he doesn't know, but wants Pat to get him a mobile phone so he can call the cops and have that big son of a bitch arrested for assault right now.
Oh, God. boring.
Oh, you didn't know? Right into the next match.
Right, straight in. Immediately knew you were going to be angry. But I feel like he is one of the only few people where this is allowed.
Because he comes out talking.
Jibber jabbering.
Jibber jabber, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And it's one of the best. My first note says, for me, his intro is one of the best. Will always be near the top. For
Really?
me. Yeah, I love it.
Well, you get another one in this one that you quite like, I must say. So this match is Road Dogg versus Val Venus versus Goldust with Blue Meanie and Ryan Shamrock versus Ken Shamrock for the WWF Intercontinental title. As they kept coming out for this match, because at first I thought it was just going to be Road Dogg against Val Venus.
Yes.
So when you heard Goldust music, what were you thinking?
Okay, fine.
Ready for it?
Fine, and then give me Shamrock and his tiny little pants.
Yeah, his little snug little panties. As the Intercontinental Champion makes his way to the ring, he says on the mic, "It won't be anything like brotherly love up in this mother." Road Dogg wants to kick it doggy style as he goes into his usual spiel before finishing, "If you aren't down with him leaving with the Intercontinental title around his waist, he has 2 words for you. Hello, ladies." Right from one to the next.
Fucking love it.
Tell me, Holly, how happy were you to see the big Valboski make his WrestleMania debut?
Yes. And it's so, I mean, it's cringe to watch it now, but honestly, it's so, just hearing the screams of people.
He's a handsome boy.
And I mean, yeah, he's very attractive, but also seeing the whole intro and the gimmick, just being like, oh, it's a little much.
It's on the nose, isn't it?
It's a little much.
As Val grabs a microphone, he assures all the ladies that when he wins back the Intercontinental title, even that belt will not keep the big Valboski's pants on. Mate, we've literally seen you in nothing but trunks and a towel. What the fuck are you talking about? I've never seen pants anywhere near your fucking dick.
I don't think he owns them, does he?
No, I debated doing that whole spiel in his voice and thought that might really fuck me for the rest of it. Next out, we have Goldust, who is accompanied by the Blue Meanie and Ryan Shamrock. But tell me, Holly, what do you make of Meanie's painted on indoor sunglasses? They get a pass?
So shit. It's like, where's Wally? So shit.
There he is.
Yeah, it's awful.
No? Okay,
Who the
fine.
fuck is this guy?
Blue Meanie?
Yeah.
Former ECW worker, was part of the Blue World Order with Stevie Richards and Nova. Came over in WWF around this time.
Right.
He was at one point dating or married to a porn star, started his own wrestling company.
Oh, okay.
He's actually a very nice guy. He had an infamous altercation with JBL at ECW One Night Stand, where we haven't seen that one, but there's a brawl at the end of the show between the WWE guys and the ECW guys, and in it, JBL throws proper right hands.
Yes, I've actually read about
him.
that. Yes.
That's him.
Oh.
So we'll get to that on another episode, of course.
Oh, yay.
Last but not least, we have the tiny blue trunks wearing world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock, slowly making his way to the ring. Ah, shit. I thought this was going to be a tag in and out affair, but as soon as Shamrock slides into the ring, he's set upon by Goldust and the bell rings with Val and Road Dogg also mid-brawl.
Yes.
Reversal of a whip by Shamrock, who drops Goldust with a back elbow before impressively hitting a Hurricane Runner, sending the Golden One to the floor. Shamrock turns his attention to Val, who is pounding on Road Dogg in the corner and hits him from behind. Was Val Venus pounding on him doggy style, is what I want to know.
It's full of innuendos.
Unintentional.
Yeah.
Almost all of them.
In your endo.
In your endo. Double team whip and back elbow puts Val down, but Road Dogg can't celebrate as Ken levels him with a clothesline. Shamrock idiotically yells at Tim White to ring the bell, but he did the moment Ken slid into the ring. Great physique, but less work on the brain too.
Oh.
Face first into the buckles goes Road Dogg, and Shamrock sends him hard with a whip into the opposite corner. Sends him hard.
I can't. It's
I
just
know.
full of. It's because Venus is there. It's just full of innuendos.
I can just hear Holly.
That sounds really fucking creepy.
That'd be louder than that, I'd like to think, surely. I mean, imagine that as a bedroom noise. Just,
Yeah, no,
Oh.
it's very weird.
I'll tell you, it reminds of someone we work with.
Oh, God.
And we'll leave that one there
No,
for now.
thank you.
Oh, good, it is a four-corner match. I heard them say it was, but with the woolly rules around disqualifications earlier in the show, I wasn't convinced. Shamrock finds a lock of Goldust's wig on the canvas, glares at him, picks it up, and blows it away. Hell of a threat, that. Another strong corner whip sees Road Dogg hit hard and collapse. Shamrock ducks too early off a regular whip and eats a kick, punch, drop kick combination. Goldust tagged in and Shamrock scampers after him right away, but it's avoided and he turns right into a big spine buster. Mounted right hands and a flying clothesline from the Golden One sees Ken tag out to Val, who, instead of going for Goldust, stomps away first on Shamrock. Big back suplex from Goldust gets a near fall. Goldust avoids a body slam and looks to connect with a curtain call. Val slips out the back door also and sends Goldust into the ropes before hitting a double A spine buster that earns a 2 count. Val ducks too early off a whip and Goldust uses his knees for a jumping ring dinger, and a clothesline follows that results in a near fall. We see the Blue Meanie taunting Shamrock from the outside by raising his fist as though he's looking to duke it out. Meanwhile, back in the ring, Goldust has placed Val on the top rope. Goldust looks for a superplex, but Val blocks it and punches away on Goldust, instead connecting with a top rope bulldog that gets a near fall.
Quite like that.
Yeah. Very nice fisherman suplex with a bridge by Val gets another near fall. Quite like that as well, I assume.
Yeah.
Reversal of a corner whip by Goldust has Val hit the buckles hard, and when he bounces out, the 2 crack skulls, which results in a big Valboski falling headfirst on a certain pair of golden globes. Shamrock... Unimpressed?
Yeah, I just... Obviously seen it before in many matches. It's a bit stupid.
Shamrock sees fit to just walk into the ring and DDTs Goldust, so Road Dogg does the same to Val. The official begins the count with both men down, but Goldust manages to crawl to Val and make the cover for a very close 2 count. Shamrock seems more upset about this than anyone as he's back in the ring shouting that the count was 3. Road Dogg takes the opportunity to re-enter and drop Goldust with a right hand, and this makes him the legal man, it seems. Big overhand chop in the corner from Road Dogg, who shakes his knees, which for some reason the women really seem to like, which has confused me.
Yeah.
It was an all-woman reaction to that. I can't say, like, you like his entrance music. I imagine Road Dogg has never moved the needle on anything else for you.
No, not really.
No, I think that's a fair opinion to have.
Yeah.
Reversal of a whip and corner clothesline by Val lands hard, and he hits it twice in quick succession. There's a lot of Val landing hard. Maybe it was subconscious.
Yeah.
Val looks for a Northern Lights suplex hard. No, that'll joke. But this is blocked, and we soon see Road Dogg jabbing and looking for the shake, rattle and roll. He taunts Goldust, who runs in and gets the same, as does Shamrock, who jumped his cue and had to wait his turn. Big right hand puts Shamrock down, and we get the shake, rattle and roll knee drop on the world's most dangerous man. The Dog is up on the second rope to play to the crowd, but finds himself cut off by Val, who hits a back suplex and gets a near fall. Still, no eliminations. Kick to the gut by Road Dogg, who hooks up Val for the pump handle slam, but not before a bit of mock butthole penetration.
It's always amusing.
The move lands, but as Road Dogg stumbles away, Shamrock makes the tag and runs right into a boot up in the corner from the big Valboski. Val runs out and is taken down with a drop toe hold, and now we see the ankle lock. Val somehow manages to crawl his way to the ropes, and Tim White has to physically pull Ken away. Shamrock closes back in, but is elevated over the top to the outside. Ryan is now shouting at her big brother, and he's positioned nicely for a baseball slide to the back that sends him stumbling up the aisle. Val is in pursuit, and I can see where this is going as the 2 men brawl up the entryway. Shamrock sees the count and runs back, causing Tim White to actually speed up to ensure both Ken and Val are counted out. Now we're down to 2. Shamrock has snapped and isn't done as he hits a belly-to-belly suplex on Goldust and then one on Road Dogg before screaming in the referee's face.
What I didn't understand by this...
Yep.
I didn't understand a lot of this match, let's be clear. But what I didn't understand is how, by Shamrock getting counted out, Val was also counted out too, because Shamrock was out earlier, because he got the feet to the back. Well, surely then you've got to do 2 separate counts for who's out for 10 and he's...
Just add another second
Val's
on.
out for... I mean, it wasn't really 10 either, was it? Because it was
True.
like slow and then it went 9-10.
But for all we know, he didn't actually start his count till Val was already outside anyway.
Maybe.
So then
Maybe.
if Ken's...
I was just annoyed.
Well, both of those got eliminated.
Yeah.
The 2 eye candies
Give
have
it a
gone.
Goldust.
Both of these men left in the match are motionless, and the official begins the count. Goldust is the first to move, and he crawls over to the cover and gets the 1, 2, no. Goldust hits the ropes, and there seems to be a miscommunication as Ryan trips him by the leg. Meanie is shouting, "I told you," but it isn't clear if it was intended or not. The Dog runs right into a snap power slam, but upon landing somehow manages to hook the leg of Goldust and hold on for the 1, 2, 3. Road Dogg has retained the Intercontinental title. Goldust is furious, and he and Meanie are shouting at Ryan, who is doing her best attempt at crying before she's sent to the back.
It's a very poor attempt.
It wasn't good.
Poor attempt.
What do you think of the match, Holly? What did you score it?
Do you know what? I didn't mind. I didn't understand most of it, but I didn't mind it. I gave it 1.5. Probably a little overshare, but
Dave, overshare? Dave scored it 1.5.
Oh.
I'd probably score it 1.75. Thought it was a bit better than that.
I didn't mind it, and it had 3 people in it that I really liked.
So, is this starting to come back up now?
I would say so.
Okay, we'll see.
I would say so.
We'll see if this trend continues, as the cameras now take us outside the arena, where we see a sea of officers encourage Big Show to get into the back of a car.
A normal car, FYI.
Yeah, oh no, we get there. What Show says here is dirty WCW talk, and it annoys me. He says, what it's about when you guys get a badge, you think you have stroke. Cut that shit out. I don't want to hear that. Like, stroke is a term that they use backstage to say, oh, I've got a lot of political sway.
Because you can see the confused look on my face going, what?
Yeah, I know, it's
makes no sense.
Like WCW lingo that's just shit.
Leave these guys alone. They just picked up the fancy dress costumes backstage. Come on.
Exactly that. The big guy does get in the car and looks quite frankly comical sitting in the back of this car all hunched over. He's wearing the machine, not travelling in it.
Yep.
From here, we're shown footage of Chyna having turned on DX, restraining Triple H, accidentally getting hit with a flare in the face from Kane, who carried her out of the ring after. Michael Cole informs us that Chyna suffered some retina damage in the process. The following week, we see Goldust set off a pyro gun of his own at Kane, but it wasn't Goldust. No, it was Triple H in disguise.
I'll be honest, I do like that.
Yeah, I thought that was alright, because from the angle, you couldn't tell.
Yeah.
And this burned the parts of Kane that were not covered up. So about half an arm.
Yeah. I like that they said, oh, he suffered really badly. Well, there's no like makeup work to make it look like he suffered badly at all.
But not only that, they said the bits of his body that weren't covered. So it's literally half an arm, and also all of him was burnt in a house fire. I don't think this fucking scratched the surface for the man.
I think it's fine.
We now go to a match which I feel like we've seen a number of times on this show. Kane versus Triple H.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Yay.
Not excited for it?
Not overly excited.
Okay.
Potential.
Sure. Kane makes his way to the ring, and just as he reaches the ring, the fucking chicken is behind him and jumping on his back. Kane easily gets him off and pins him up against the apron, as Cole suggests it could be Triple H in another disguise. Although, why that would be needed if he was jumping him from behind, I have no idea. In fact, Triple H running out as himself would draw less suspicion than a man in a fucking chicken costume.
A little part of me was like, oh, who's it going to be? And then that climax died.
The raging climax died?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they meant.
Maybe.
There you go. Kane rips off the head of the chicken. And who is it that we have here, Holly?
I actually don't know.
That's right. Pete Rose is back for more, but it wasn't to be. Do you not remember him?
No.
Kane tombstoned him at the last WrestleMania.
I mean, I know they showed a clip, but it's irrelevant to me.
But this is the Pete Rose-Kane rivalry.
It's fucking pointless.
It's WrestleMania worthy twice.
It's not.
Outrageous.
It's definitely not.
Outrageous.
It's not.
Kane rolls him into the ring, and for the second year in a row, Pete Rose is hit with a tombstone. Nice segue into Kane's ring corner pyro, though, and his music starts up once more. Pete is helped by a number of personnel to the back, and fair play to the man, he's a good sport about it all. If nothing else, Kane has had a suitable warm-up and is ready as the DX music hits for the arrival of Triple H. Or so he thinks. Well, look at that. Triple H does sneak in from behind and hits a brutal low blow. The match is underway as the bell sounds and Triple H gifts us with some Sesame Street punches in the corner, but is unceremoniously shoved off and across the ring. As he goes back for... oh no. This doesn't deter him as he returns and commences a second portion of Sesame Street punches, but it ends in the same result. As he goes back for thirds, like the greedy boy he is, Kane boots him in the face. Oh, and that's where the sentence ends. Kane charges but is elevated up and over to the floor, but impressively lands on his feet. Grabs Triple H by the leg after the game has removed the shirt and drags him outside.
The screams that go off when he takes his top off just proves there are some women there.
Yes, well, they were there for Road Dogg's knee shake, so I don't know if I'm going based on their reactions anymore, to be honest. Uppercuts by Kane, but he's reversed into the ring post on a whip.
Oh, finally, drink.
After a kick, he goes face first into the post once more.
Woohoo, drink.
Big whip sends Kane flying into the steel stairs.
Pause after big whip.
Because I was waiting for you to laugh. Big whip sends Kane flying into the steel stairs, and he really did hit those hard. Triple H returns to the ring, and as Kane looks to eventually follow, he's caught with a high knee that sends him face first over the barricade, and a baseball slide to the back sends him back into it once more. Back on the outside, and Triple H runs Kane face first into the table before they both re-enter the ring. Irish whip is reversed, and Kane hits a big boot, knocking him down, and then tosses Triple H to the outside. Hunter grabs him by the boot and trips him, but finds himself kicked back first into the barricade, and now Kane is outside with him. Kane closes in, but is sent face first into the barricade. A lot of barricades here. Triple H climbs the steel stairs, but is grabbed by the throat, and Kane carries him and drops him sack first onto the barricade, before swatting him into the laps of the Mean Street posse at ringside. The Big Red Machine picks Triple H up and runs him back first into the ring post.
Drink.
Not once, but twice.
Oh, take those drinks.
But thrice.
Yay.
And this match is hitting all of Holly's unique phrases and sayings. Cole says that Triple H's kidneys could be in trouble, and King says, "Who? His kidneys. Oh. Scintillating stuff." They both return to the ring, and maybe they will stay there for a bit now, hopefully.
Maybe.
Big uppercut drops Triple H, and he's sent hurtling into the buckle shortly after. Corner beatdown from Kane, and he follows this up with a kneeling choke. More deliberate strikes now, and another hard corner whip that is finished with a huge uppercut as Triple H staggers back out. Leg drop from Kane gets a count of 2. Kane ducks too early off a whip and eats a kick, but hits back immediately with a clothesline, or as Cole called it, followed up with an explanation point. Not exclamation point. Face first into the buckles goes Hunter, and he is whipped into the corner again, but does get the boot up on a charge. He looks to fight back, but a big knee from Kane lands, and Triple H finds himself thrown to the outside. It must be WrestleMania, as Kane comes crashing over the top to the floor, hitting Triple H and returning him to the ring. Impressive for a big man.
Yeah.
Didn't need it?
No.
Fair enough. It's the only good part of the match. Up to the top rope now, but Triple H grabs the wrist and pulls him down to the canvas. Big miss from Kane on a corner splash, and Triple H uncorks a few right hands. Reversal of a whip sees Kane miss both a clothesline and back elbow before Triple H connects with a face buster, and the high knee that hits after drops the big man to the floor. Chyna is now making her way to the ring, and Triple H spots her. What did you think when you saw Chyna coming?
What did I think?
Yeah, because we've had a lot of nonsense happen already.
Oh, yeah. Just... what is going to happen now? Like, obviously, who's she affiliated with? Also, do I care?
Fair. Did you?
No.
Brilliant.
No, to be honest though, I always like checking out what gear she's wearing though. Those boots, fuck me those.
Those what?
The boots.
Boots.
Yeah, they're fuck me boots, definitely.
I thought you said boobs.
I mean, those two, but...
Yeah, I mean, which costs more is the question.
I don't know.
The boobs, I'd assume.
I'd assume so.
His kick is caught, and Kane scoops him up, but Triple H slips out the back and looks for the pedigree. Leg sweep by Kane, and he drops an elbow as Chyna has now slid the ring stairs into the ring. Kane scoops them up and runs at Triple H, who gets the boot up in the corner, causing the steel to crash into the big man's face, kind of. What have you put here?
The ref here, is this Teddy Long?
I think so, I can't remember.
I assume Teddy is partially blind, as there have been no DQ.
Well, I mean, is it any worse than the Earl Hebner nonsense earlier? Kane misses a clothesline but hits an uppercut before running face first into a drop toe hold that sees him eat the steel. Clothesline from Triple H sends Kane to the outside, and they are both outside now. Again, they're outside. Both men are outside.
Don't need a ring, to be fair.
No. That's what I was telling my missus for years. Hunter looks for a pedigree on the remaining portion of the stairs, but Kane backdrops him to the mats. With both men now back in the ring, Kane hits a big chokeslam, and we see Chyna standing on the apron with a steel chair. She signals to Kane that she wants the honour of hitting Triple H with it. Kane patiently waits and makes the mistake of turning his back that allows the ninth wonder of the world to instead hit him. The referee signals for the bell. This one sees Kane win by disqualification. I hate disqualification finishes at Mania, and we've had 2 of them.
Yeah.
All this does is rile him up, and he looks like he wants to choke her out, but he stops himself. That was mistake number 2, as it allows Hunter to hit him with the chair once again. A third chair shot to the face of Kane is disgusting, and now Kane is pedigreed on top of the steel. Chyna jumps into the arms of Triple H, and this is weird, as this must have been around the time that Stephanie McMahon entered the scene. The crowd seem to like the reunion though, and the two walk with their arms raised backstage. It's weird because Triple H at this point, as DX is supposed to be a face, Chyna's supposed to have turned heel on him, but aligned with Kane. But Kane seems more like the face to me in this.
Yes, for sure.
Doesn't make sense.
No.
Too many layers of this onion that have gone rotten. Kane shows an element of being human as he sat with his head in his hand, but this is only for a moment as he soon takes off after the couple. Thoughts on the match, Holly?
I thought it was shit.
Yes.
I gave it a 1 star. Also, Triple H, just hurry up and get to the point where you're my sweet spot.
Get wet. Get wet and get near Holly's sweet spot.
Get wet, get a bit.
So, nothing really positive for you to take away from that?
No, it's just boring.
It was, and the amount of going to the outside and coming back in really grated on me on this one.
No, not actual much wrestling.
And there hasn't been so far really on the night, to be honest, beyond a few moves here and there. I wasn't a fan of this. I'd agree with you with a 1 star. Dave scores it 1.25. We did see that match between Kane and Triple H, which was the strap match, wasn't it?
Oh, right.
That was better than this by a mile. And that had a lot of going in and out of the ring as well.
Yeah.
But this was... I didn't enjoy this at all.
No,
didn't care.
It was a dross.
And again, to end in a disqualification.
Boring.
Really boring. With the match now over, Cole sends us backstage to Kevin Kelly to discuss the official for the main event of this evening. Even though Mankind won the match earlier as a result of a disqualification, he's been taken to the hospital, or local medical facility if you're Vince McMahon, and of course we saw the Big Show get arrested and put in the back of a Prius that he wore. As Kevin finishes the thought, Vince walks into the shot as though by accident, looking around. I like that. Just him going...
What, like he didn't notice the camera
Yeah,
set up?
Funny. To me, that was actually funny.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, that was funny. Vince says that he can help him out on this one, as in his athletic bag, he has a referee shirt that fits excellently.
He doesn't know.
Vinnie Mac confirms that he will be the special guest referee to ensure no more controversy before excusing himself as he has to get ready. Back in the arena, the cameras show us a man by the name of Big Punisher, and I can genuinely say that that is the first time I have ever heard of this human being. Do you have any idea who it is?
I don't know.
Do you know what? It was so... I cared so little, didn't even look him up.
Fair.
Very meaty fella, and he's fully flexing for the camera, I assume ironically. Right, okay, so we're... You know, the peaks and troughs.
Oh, yeah.
I'm waiting for a peak.
Just troughs.
Well, we get 4 peaks in a second.
We've done like a lower, then like a tiny little blip up, and now we're just going to go down.
This bitch is flatlining.
Yeah.
Is all I'm saying. So the next match, straight into another one, we get Sable versus Tori. Not the Tori Wilson that we've come to learn and love later. And this is for the WWF Women's title. What did you think? Because I'll be honest, the Sable tag team match of the last Mania, decent.
I'll be honest, it's not like I heard it and went, oh God, here we go.
I did.
Thought, oh, okay, like I wonder what it's going to be like. And that didn't really last that long, that thought.
Well, yeah, and let's dive into the meat and potatoes of it. So 2 years in a row for Sable at WrestleMania from an in-ring perspective, because obviously she accompanied Triple H to the ring the year prior to that. This time she's looking to defend her women's championship. As she makes her way to the ring, she gyrates a few times before carrying the title around in the ring like a ring card girl at a boxing event.
Yeah, true. I mean, can we just say she looks insane?
Not for me to say. Okay. She's got a good physical form, if that makes sense, beyond the inflated tits. She's got an athletic. You can see there's like almost a six pack pretty much.
Yeah.
You can see it in the arms as well.
Yeah.
Sable has the microphone and says that this is for all the women that want to be her and for the men that want to be in her. That come to see her. It sounds better. No, sorry, typo. It sounds better when she says it, as it rhymes, and I look like me and she looks like she does.
But maybe if you wore tiny little booty shorts where the bottom part of your arse cheek hung out, it would make all the difference.
It's not a good part of my body, to be honest. No, I'll do something that gets the legs flexing or something. Are you ready for the grind, Holly?
No. I don't need to see this more than... She does it all the fucking time.
And that's what Sable asked the fans and gyrates one more time.
Also a bit odd, like...
You ready
I don't
for the
know.
grind?
If I was going to do a movement that was maybe going to like entice people, it wouldn't be what she does.
Great point. What would you do?
I don't know right now off the cuff.
No, get off the chair.
No,
You said your
no.
arse aches sitting there. Get up.
It does. But no, I'm not.
But not
I just don't know. The
bend and snap.
gyration just doesn't really... I don't really feel like it does much. It's
I'll be
just
honest.
The hip circulating.
I was drier than the Sahara.
Yeah, I don't really get it.
It's just like, you want to see the grind? And then just this weird, creepy...
Yeah, it's just the hip
Well, it's
move
not
circles.
good. Like, I reckon I could dance sexier than that. And that is not a compliment. One for later. Her opponent is out now. And I can't be bothered to comment about why the champion should come out second because it's going to continue to happen.
The catsuit, though, is phenomenal.
Quite like the gear on Tori, who's wearing a spray-painted tiger-like bodysuit, which is not something you see every day.
Phenomenal. And she's wearing more clothes, but also not at all.
No, exactly. It's like skin tight, so
Yes.
airbrushed. Really, really good design, though. I actually really liked it.
Me too.
She's wearing all the bits that Deborah wasn't wearing
Of course.
earlier in the show. As she walks down the aisle, we're shown footage of Tori running into the ring at Raw, but it cuts off as soon as she gets to the ring, as Sable has kicked her back out of the live show, so ironically, they pretty much showed us footage of what Tori was actually doing at WrestleMania until it stopped. Because they obviously thought she was going to take longer to get to the ring, show the altercation, but it was so funny.
Was bizarre.
So funny. Tori looks to crawl back in from a second side of the ring and is kicked out once again. A lot of wolf whistles as Tori looks to enter the ring for a third time, and she does, but is grabbed by the hair and run throat first into the top rope before being propelled backwards. And trust me when I say that is the best move of the match.
Yeah.
Cole talks about Tori basically stalking Sable as she's her idol, and this is a storyline that the WWF loves to repeat for the women when they have nothing else creatively for them. I can think
Mickie
of
James and
Trish, and there's another one, AJ Lee and Paige, and I think AJ Lee was a fan of someone else, and it's just, very much the same. Laboured boots by Sable to the chest of a kneeling Tori, and now she is thrown back to the outside. Tori circles around the ring looking to pick her spot, and she does, grabbing Sable by the ankles and pulling her out of the ring, then sending her face first into the ring apron. Now she goes face first into the barrier and into the apron once more. Big chop by Tori, who finds herself reversed with a whip into the barricade. Knee to the midsection by Sable, who's standing on the apron and somehow nearly overshoots her crossbody to the floor on Tori, who is wiped the fuck out by the contact. They return back to the ring and Sable returns to kicking away at the ribs. She gyrates one too many times, however, and is clotheslined by Tori, who quickly mounts and unloads with right hands. Sable drags herself to the corner where she is whipped and clotheslined into the other corner before being hit with the same combination again. Tori is reversed on a third corner whip but goes up and over in a very awkward sunset flip that gets a count of 2. I don't think Sable wanted to go down cleanly for that. She didn't trust it to go backwards.
No.
Jackknife pin by Sable now gets a 1 count, and the two women try to bridge up, which they nearly manage.
They do.
But they sadly collapse in a bit of a heap until Tori does get a backslide pin for a near fall. I so wanted them to hit that. They needed
it was
something.
So close.
They were like
and then it's
half...
just like you just see one foot just kind of like go, and you're like, it's done.
I would say they were like 2 inches from breaking the middle point, so
Yeah.
it would have been easier to go up than kind of collapse. I actually felt for them on that one, I have to say. A couple of kicks are avoided by Tori, and she ducks a clothesline before Sable goes to a drop down, and Tori accidentally hits the official with a crossbody. Somehow, this appears to have hit him in the dick.
Mm-hmm.
Sable sets up for a Sable bomb, and Tori doesn't rotate enough to counter it, so the move looks awful as she's supposed to obviously land on her feet. She hits Sable from the canvas, and then Sable falls awkwardly in like a splits as well. Tori takes an age to hit a powerbomb of her own, and now Nicole Bass is in the ring and has the challenger by the hair. Bass military press slams Tori, which is impressive, and now she's exchanging words with Sable.
Yeah.
The champion pats her on the shoulder, gyrates, and this time hits Tori with a Sable bomb for the 1, 2, 3. Sable has retained the title. I'm going to say my bit here, and then I'll let you have at it. Sable is dancing like an awkward mum, and this is easily one of the worst things I have ever seen. Almost everything that was wrong with women's wrestling at the time. I don't recall a bell sounding to start this, and therefore I can pretend it wasn't a match, and I'm not going to treat it as one. It was fucking atrocious.
Yeah.
It was, as far as an actual in-ring wrestling match goes, I would always say the boxing thing with Piper and
Oh god.
Piper and Mr. T, was awful because it wasn't a wrestling match. The one that comes closest after that for me is George the Animal Steel and Randy Savage. This is worse.
Yeah.
This is worse.
Yeah, I agree.
Your thoughts, please.
Just happy it wasn't very long, I'll be honest. Outfits, fine. That's where my points are. Outfits.
That's where their points were as well.
Yeah, I know. It was just shocking.
One of the worst things I've ever seen.
I don't have it.
And for it to be at a WrestleMania as well.
Yeah. Just don't have it.
What did you score it?
0.5, and that is purely for the costumes.
0.
And the fact it was fucking quick.
I don't go negative unless it's that boxing match, so it's 0 stars for me.
Yeah.
Dave, don't blame him. -2 stars.
Fine. Not mad at it,
No.
actually.
No, it was that bad.
Yeah, fine.
So thankfully, that's now in the rearview mirror. I was an angry boy watching
Shocking.
that. Yeah. Not even a horny boy, just an angry boy. At that farce,
Sorry, would you rather have had that match or another? I know it was a Miss Rumble, but would you rather have had that instead?
I'd rather have seen Mae Young's tit again.
Okay, good to know.
That's how bad that was. I genuinely thought you were going to say, oh, okay, would you rather watch that or had a wank, is where I genuinely thought you were going with that question.
No.
And it's an obvious answer anyway, because that was awful. It was a shit wank, as you would say.
Left-handed.
Left-handed, no finish. As that farce thankfully draws to a close, we head backstage where we see Kevin Kelly surrounded by the members of DX with X-Pac stood in the middle, staring at the camera, wringing his hands.
Just being annoying.
He's well tough. Kevin Kelly refers to China having come home, and Triple H says that it doesn't matter about Shane being the boss's son. He will have to bring everything in his power tonight because X-Pac is handing him his shining corporate arse. Okay. There is nothing stronger than DX. I don't know, your nose is pretty strong. I will say that. And I just realised they'd literally all had a match apart from X-Pac at this point. And only one of them has won. Road Dogg.
Yeah.
Triple H was disqualified. Billy Gunn lost the hardcore title.
Yeah.
It's not good odds.
No.
And now we go to the match in which they're referring to here.
Before we get there,
Okay.
X-Pac just does, Shane, get ready for some pain. No, okay. It's fucking
so scared.
stupid. So he just annoys me so much.
I know he does.
So much.
So you're cheering for Shane McMahon in this one, are you?
Shockingly, yes.
I'm cheering for neither. Shane
Yeah,
McMahon.
I have to, otherwise my brain is just not interested.
So just putting this out there, you are siding, of course, mainly because of Test.
No, mainly because X-Pac's annoying.
Okay, so
I've got a bad comment about Test in a minute though.
Okay, so if Test had come out with X-Pac, let's say if that universe existed.
But he doesn't.
Yeah, I know he doesn't, but I'm saying let's go to that imaginary world. Who are you cheering for?
Ooh, X-Pac is really annoying.
But does
Test level it out?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
There you go.
Very fickle.
Very fickle. That's definitely the word for you.
In this scenario, just be clear, not in life.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. Shane is grooving his way to the ring, and well, at least for Holly's sake, if nothing else, we get Test again on the show.
Yay.
Shane is wearing mock X-Pac slogans and colours on his attire, which will have annoyed Holly, who would much prefer a contrast in colour palette.
Do you know what? Because it's taking the piss out of X-Pac, I wasn't much
See, fickle!
good.
That's what I'm saying, so fickle.
I just liked X-Chump. I thought it was just tickled me. It did.
Although it looks
I
like
love the
he's a
fucking
chump.
word chump too, I'll be honest.
Oh, yeah, you do. Yeah, you've called me a chump a few
I
times.
love that word. Also, if we're talking about clothing, Test, right? What are you wearing? No top, which is fine. Jeans, boots, and a wrestling belt. It makes sense later, but you look ridiculous.
Yeah, he looked a twat.
Looked ridiculous,
Yeah.
especially as he's got a normal belt on as well.
Yeah.
So ridiculous.
Well, he's carrying Shane McMahon in many respects, so he had to put the weightlifting belt on there, so... What the fuck is this? As Pac is making his way to the ring and the cameras flick between him and the entrance video, Pat Patterson and Jerry Briscoe have dawdled their way out and are beating on the champion. Of course they cock it up and Jerry is punched by Pat when X-Pac ducks.
Which is very funny. It's so funny.
It's their overselling I love.
Brilliant.
Right hands for both of the Stooges and now X-Pac hits the ring. Shane and Test have rolled to the outside to re-strategize. The champ slowly makes his way back into the ring, and this one is underway. Shane-O re-enters the ring very cautiously before mocking Pac with a crane kick stance. X-Pac makes chase and the two run round the ring before re-entry. Completely lost where I am. No, here we are. Pac ducks a clothesline and Shane hits a leapfrog, which surprisingly didn't completely blow both his knees out. And Pac hits him with a spinning heel kick. In the corner, and the challenger is looking for a Bronco Buster, but Test pulls his boss to safety. The champ looks to head backstage, but Pac hits him from behind before returning him to the ring. As Shane rolls back inside and the ref checks on him, Test scoops up Pac and runs him dick first into the ring post. I honestly don't know if Holly will have booed or cheered that one, but one thing she will have done is add a drink.
Absolutely.
It was actually a very good dick punch.
Yeah.
Dick stunt. Dick stunt. You know what I mean?
Dick post.
Dick post. No. No, it's definitely not a dick post.
Dick post.
No, well, I haven't had one for a while. As the... There we go. Test does a victory lap and high-fives all of the Mean Street Posse as the ref begins the count. Just before 10, X-Pac manages to get back in the ring and is set upon by the champion. Holly's favourite move, double axe handle to the back, is followed by a succession of knees in the corner as well as a right hand.
You'd think that now that we're further away from the older stuff, I'd stop seeing this shit.
Well,
everyone fucking does it.
Don't hold your breath, we've got the main event to go. In the second corner, we get the exact same treatment. Body slam by Shane, who's looking for the corporate elbow with crotch chop included, but Pac moves out of the way of the impact. Test manages to distract the referee. And Sean Connery's left now. Shane connects with a blatant low blow before moving on to whipping the challenger with a belt that had been around the waist of Test.
So we've had a low blow. We're now having belt whipping. These are all... Aren't they things that should be DQ'd?
Yes, absolutely.
I don't understand.
No, they just don't like us.
These refs didn't go to Specsavers, did they?
Not only that, they just go, do you know what? In about 25 years' time, there's going to be a podcast out there, okay? And now hear me out. And one of the co-hosts there, I think her name will be Holly or something like that.
Sure.
She's going to be very easily confused when things don't align correct in a wrestling match.
I'm a simple girl.
So on this event, just this one, and probably some others around this time, we're just going to have no rules that make sense, and just see how she fares with it, because she might have like some sort of episode and smash the chair in the room or something. So I reckon that's what went through the logic behind it, because that's certainly the end result, apart from the chair smashing, I hope, because that would make me a sad boy.
That's far too much effort.
Oh, it really is, isn't it?
Yeah.
The sound these slaps are making appeared to be getting louder until Shane aims one for the face and finds himself backdropped to the floor outside. X-Pac slingshot crossbody connects, but the posse all reach down and grab him, pulling him away. Pac fights back very quickly, knocking down about 6 different guys. Having rolled Shane back into the ring, told you it was tough, Test levels Pac with a clothesline as once again the ref is distracted.
So fucking distracted.
It's not even the worst part yet. Elbow drop by Shane, who now drags X-Pac to the corner to hit a second rope elbow to the face. This time, Shane goes to the top but finds himself drop kicked and he crotches himself on the ropes. Second rope superplex from X-Pac, who taunts Shane before covering him for the 1, 2, no. Test pulls X-Pac out by the ankle in front of the ref, and this is a joke.
Yeah. So it's even now visibly seen.
Again, there's another bit in the moment. Back first goes the challenger slowly into the stairs as a cameraman had been in the way, but the big man misses his charge and that he attempted moments later. X-Pac has the belt and now Shane is eating the leather, including a number to the chest, which is super loud. Mm-hmm. Pac hits a couple of kicks that put Shane in a seated position in the corner, and Holly, we know what is coming next. What did you call it? What was the female equivalent?
A Bronco Buster.
Yeah, but what was the female? You came up with a name for it.
No, I don't remember. That's long gone.
It was a muffin something or other.
Yeah,
I can't remember
probably.
what it was. Yeah, the flying muffin. So X-Pac hits the flying muffin. Once again, the ref is distracted, allowing Test to wipe out the challenger with the title belt. The ref begins his count as Shane begins slowly crawling towards the challenger, who he places a hand across. 1, 2, no. X-Pac kicks out. In the corner, Shane chokes away with his boot, but is a country mile off when he looks for the Bronco Buster of his own. Test back in once more, and I now fully hate him as he falls over X-Pac as the ref is watching, before being decked with a kick. I mean, my God. Bronco Buster for Test, and now DX are here to level up the playing field. Or so we think. X-Factor from the challenger, but the ref is now fussing with China. From behind, Triple H connects with the pedigree and drags Shane over for the cover. The ref returns and we get the 1, 2, 3. Shane McMahon retains the title. Triple H and Chyna look to have officially joined the corporation, and it was all a ruse. X-Pac is hit with a clothesline from the game, and he wails away on Pac, who's being restrained by Test. The New Age Outlaws hit the ring, and in a moment of rare, genuine comedy, Gunn was going so fast he nearly slides the entirety of the ring until he's met with punches from Hunter.
That's exactly what I thought. I thought he was going to slide out the other side.
That would have been brilliant.
Oh, it would have been so good. So good.
The bell is going, but the corporation are beating down the remnants of DX with ease, and the lights go out.
No one put money in the meter.
Kane's music hits, and here comes the big red machine. Triple H wants no part of it, and the corporation leave. Kane is so keen to catch them, he jumps over the ropes to the floor to follow them backstage. I like how that got oh yeah, that was impressive. He does it in the match, and you go, I didn't need it. Brilliant.
No, I don't know why.
We see a replay of what just happened as the Outlaws check on the condition of X-Pac, who's struggling to get to his feet. Holly is masturbating furiously at the thought of X-Pac not being able to stand.
Shut up.
We hear Road Dogg call Hunter a jack-off, and that he is finished. Cole tells the audience listening, and Road Dogg repeats, jack-off, as Cole missed that part, and he said, you heard me.
Yeah.
Holly, what'd you rate this match?
I rated it. To be fair, actually, maybe I've overrated it. 1.75. Oh, what's that face for?
Dave, 2.75.
Fuck off.
I go 2 and then stop.
In comparison to everything else, I feel like it probably does look a lot better than everything
But
else.
it's still not good.
It's too much.
Too many interferences.
Too much interference. Too much refs being absolutely moronic. Big word for me. Because also, if you can't hear it, like if you can't see it, you've got ears. So, okay, I might not hear something happening, but I can bloody... Oh, it's honestly...
Yeah, but if you hear it and don't see it, how can you call it?
Well, honestly, by this point, he'd seen about 20 things
before
then, so it's irrelevant. But if you hear someone being whipped with a belt, I mean, come on.
Maybe he just went to his happy place, I don't know.
But, yeah, I'm just a little tiresome at this point.
I think it was a repetition of a lot of the same types of stupid, convoluted finishes, and I'm not a fan of it either, so... I don't remember this WrestleMania being a bad one.
No.
But there's a lot of it, the stuff that we've seen so far, that I'm not liking.
No.
And we haven't really seen a good match either in terms of the rating. So we'll see where that lands. If
nothing over a 2.
This hit a 2 for me, and that's it. The Ministry of Darkness promo now kicks into gear as Undertaker warns Vince that they can take anyone at any time they see fit.
I automatically stopped caring, knowing it was going to be an Undertaker match.
Because you know the end result.
Yeah.
Vince says that Undertaker doesn't want to threaten him like that, and that this is a warning. In a strange twist, we see Taker set fire to a teddy bear from the flames that are surrounding the ring, and McMahon is on his knees crying.
Mm-hmm.
Vince says it was a symbolic moment of the only time he showed weakness, and it won't happen again. I'm confused. Taker attacks Vince, but Bossman prevents it with a nightstick, and that is enough for a Hell in a Cell match.
Okay.
We see more threats from the Ministry, and Taker is arrested. As he's in the back of the car, Vince tells him he had better stay in prison or he will get him.
Well, it's factually incorrect.
True. Vince arranges for Midian to be beaten, and we are shown the Ministry having turned up at the McMahon household as revenge. Vince is panicked and says he needs help from Kane. Turns out Undertaker was dressed as Kane, and he tells Vince that he owns the World Wrestling Federation. Having rewatched all this, I genuinely have no idea who is the face and who is the heel.
Mm-hmm.
They both seem like heels to me. I put dickheads and then changed it to heels.
Oh.
So, you didn't know this match existed.
No.
You know it's part of the Undertaker's streak. When you heard it was a Hell in a Cell match with Big Boss Man, what was going through your head?
I'll be honest, I did think maybe I don't mind Big Boss Man either. And I thought...
No, so it's probably the best version, apart from the
Yeah.
theme of the old one.
And I thought, actually, maybe this will be alright. Maybe this will have a little bit of a pickup. Mm-hmm.
And that's your initial thought. We'll see how your end thought
we will,
compared with that. Big Boss Man versus The Undertaker with Paul Bearer, Hell in a Cell.
Mm-hmm.
As Boss Man makes his way to the ring, twirling the nightstick in a way I always find aesthetically pleasing, King lets us know that this isn't the officer from the Village People, and that Boss Man likes to inflict pain.
like that.
I think he's making sweeping assumptions about the village people that he cannot support personally.
So pathetic, but it's weirdly
Stupid, isn't it?
It's so dumb, it's funny.
King has had you cracking up twice.
He has.
He had the Burger King line in the last one about the Whoppers.
Oh no, I love that.
I know, I was telling him that yesterday. Because I went to tell her the story. She said, before you tell me, is this one of those things where I have to understand wrestling to get the reference? And I said, not at all.
No.
This match is sponsored by M&M's new crispy chocolate candy, and the feeding frenzy has just begun. Mm-hmm. Immediately go, oh, it's a joke. Whenever they do that, but it's stupid.
Matches, don't you? It's
I
like
get
a
it.
Slim Jim match.
Yeah, I get it because they get the money in from it,
Yeah,
but don't. Okay. Anyway, Holly, tell me what you think of this entrance music for The Undertaker.
Yeah, I just don't really care.
Apart from the satanic verses at the beginning, I quite like the tune of it. I think it's got quite a good head nodding. Oh yeah, this sounds like a. Yeah. And then it goes into the bits, and I'm like, I'm lost again.
I get you.
We see that Paul Bearer has been poured into his suit for this night, and he's one of the most odd-looking humans I think I've ever laid my eyes on. Yeah. The commentary are full of comparisons of Taker looking like the devil, which is fair given his pointy goatee.
And the overly black dyed hair.
Yes.
So bad.
You ginger, mate.
So bad.
We're fine.
And when it was, I don't know, like, because before, when it was earlier on, obviously it's still dyed, but I think because there's no big ass, like, sideburns, it doesn't look as bad.
Yeah.
Whereas here, I'm just like, oh, God.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking drawn on with a Sharpie.
The door's now locked, and inexplicably, Paul Bearer is asking why. Oh. He was, I don't know.
Does he not know how this works?
I think he wanted to be locked in there with them, maybe.
You couldn't have made it any worse.
The bell sounds, Taker enters the ring, and the match is underway. Cole rightly says on commentary that every person who's entered the ring with a dead man in a cell has left worse off. Shawn Michaels and Mankind get mentioned specifically. Bossman ducks a right hand and unloads with strikes, backing Taker into the buckles. The dead man snaps back to life, grabs Bossman by the neck and throws him into the corner, where he now fires off a series of mixed punches before a big blow lands to the head. Corner whip sees Bossman go for the ride, but he gets his elbow up on Taker's charge. However, he does walk into a clothesline from the dead man, which gets a near fall. Would have been very funny to me if this ended there, with it being a Hell in a Cell. They go, oh, yeah. What the fuck? Like, at no point was it used. Knee to the midsection, uppercut and boot before Bossman is whipped to the ropes, but he counters with a swinging net breaker for a 2 count. Bossman calls Taker a son of a bitch, but after mouthing off some more, Taker sits bolt upright. Kick to the face puts him back down. Bossman yells at him to get back up, which he does, and he is booted back down once more. Third time Taker sits up, he grabs the ankle, gets a takedown and begins punching away on the kidneys. Bossman rolls to the outside and trips Taker, but finds himself booted back first into the cell wall.
Which just moves.
Yeah, it's really not well done.
It's so flimsy.
Yeah. I mean, this was before they made that really thick one that we are now accustomed to. Now both are on the floor and Taker runs Bossman's spine first into one of the more solid ridges of the cell on 2 occasions. Bossman looks to whip Taker into the fence, but it must have been the wrong side as Taker refuses to budge until he's sent in the opposite direction. Mm-hmm. Bossman has handcuffs, referee, as Bearer is quick to point out. The law enforcer uses these to beat Taker between the eyes before cuffing him to the wall of the cell. Bearer is losing his mind on the outside about it, and now things go up a level as Bossman has a nightstick.
Oh, that's what it's called, isn't it?
It is.
Called it a truncheon.
Same thing.
Sounds better though.
Yeah, truncheon sounds more like a sexual thing, doesn't it? Get your truncheon out. According to Cole, we may be about to see some hard time, which would suggest it may well go up Taker's poop chute, and I would like to tag out now if that does happen.
Stop it.
Taker is trying to kick at Bossman, but he stays just out of reach until he strikes the dead man with the weapon. When Taker is hit in the head, he falls to the floor, and in doing so, snaps the handcuffs.
Shocking.
Clearly an inferior brand. Holly, can you tell the listeners where you buy yours from, please?
Stop it.
Is it Love Honey? Is it... Amongst other places. More, you're just not selling me on that.
No, Brilliant. I'm not falling for it.
The thing is, though, she definitely wants to say more deliberate blows to the skull, and we see a trickle of blood as the dead man is cut across the forehead.
Blade.
Still, the punishment continues, and that's just us watching. Bossman takes a quick... Bossman. I said it like it's a surname.
Bossman.
So I was going Steve Blackman earlier. Now it's Mr. Bossman.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
fair enough.
Bossman takes a quick breather but finds himself grabbed by the throat and goes face first into the cell before being whipped into a different side of it.
To me, it just doesn't believe... It doesn't believe, such good English. It doesn't come across to me believable.
Yep.
Because you're pushed into it, it just moves with you anyway.
Yeah, true. Although, I've got a comment in a second, but it does look like Bossman gets some damage from it, if I'm honest. The Phenom has a chair, and we can hear through the camera mic Bearer taunting Bossman about hard time.
Where did he get a chair?
Under the ring.
Oh, of course he did.
Right hand from Taker, and he swings the chair at the spine of the correctional officer. A dipshit fan stands up in the front row on the face of the hard cam, and he's only mildly less interesting than the match, if I'm honest. Taker scoops Bossman up and runs him headfirst into the steel mesh. More right hands by Taker, and Bossman's face looks swollen as well as bloody, with the two now returning to the ring. Kick by the dead man is met with a poke to the eye.
Boo.
Taker ducks a clothesline and hits a flipping one of his own.
Did you
count.
hate it?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
This is the area where it's fine.
There's something coming here, and I wrote, oh, Scott's not going to be happy. And then I was like, oh, actually.
Can you just read the first sentence of the next line?
Is that right at the top?
Top of the screen.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Holly's right. Oh, for fuck's sake. Taker has him by the arm and is looking for Old School. For some reason, he's reaching up to the ceiling of the cell, and this gives Bossman the opportunity to crotch Taker on the top rope, which I cheered for.
Because it makes sense as well. Like, logically, you're taking your sweet ass down.
Yep.
Why wouldn't you do that?
Exactly. Big Boot sends him to the floor. Back in the ring now, and Bossman is picking off right hands as Taker staggers around. I could be wrong, but it sounds like we get a boring.
That's just from me at home.
Yeah, I thought it was the deep baritone voice. That
Fuck off.
Chant at WrestleMania. Imagine that being at WrestleMania of all places.
Yeah,
boring.
awful.
Not good.
Also,
not good.
imagine being in that match and hearing it.
There's no way they didn't hear it.
Oh, shit. Like.
Also, the crowd have been pretty much sat on their hands for most of the show.
Dead.
The dead man begins firing back as we are taken by the cameras to the nosebleed seats, pointing at an arena full of people sat on their hands, to my point.
And I've just put, considering this is a cell match, this is really dull.
Really dull. The two men exchange right hands, which Bossman gets the better of until Taker hits a low blow. Tombstone attempts sees Bossman escape out the back door and run the dead man into the buckles. Corner whip sees Taker bounce back, duck a clothesline and scoop Bossman off his feet to deliver the Tombstone pile driver, and with little fanfare we get the 1, 2, 3. The streak continues. Holly, over to you.
Okay, so this is putting a pause in this whole segment, right? Because obviously of what comes next. Oh, honestly, this was so... I know, for me, I really struggle, as we know, with Mania matches, with Undertaker anyway. So it's got to be decent to keep me mildly entertained. This was shite. So shit. Like, I just don't even have any other words. It was so dull. Disappointing.
Yeah, I agree.
Really disappointing.
As comparison points, which was worse from memory for you? This one,
God, memory.
Giant Gonzalez, or King Kong Bundy?
This.
You think this was worse than those?
Purely because this, with the two people in it, had more opportunity to be better.
Okay, fair enough.
So, weirdly, makes it worse because it was as bad as it was.
Fair enough.
I'm saying.
Yeah, I actually do.
With other people, I don't have that expectation.
What'd you score it?
Nothing. Nada. Zilch.
What do you think Big Dave scored it?
He gave the last one like 2 and a bit stars, so probably like 3 or something ridiculous.
0.
Stop it! Really? That makes me a little bit happy.
I give it a 1/4 of a star.
Ooh.
On the basis of, I thought of that funny joke when Taker hit the floor and broke the handcuffs, and I smiled thinking about your reaction when I got to ask you, and that is it.
Yeah, there was nothing about that I thought actually was entertaining. You don't need the cage either. The only reason they need the cage is for what happens now, which, whatever. Yeah.
Speaking of which, we now go into the next section. As the dead man's music begins to play, Taker looks up to the ceiling of the arena and signals to the sky. With that, the cameras pan up and we see Gangrel, Edge and Christian descend from up high on the harness, and they land on the top of the cell. kicking and tearing their way into it. What did you think was going to happen when you saw them come down and land on the cage?
Well, firstly, I was immediately nervous. The fact that that's how they're coming down.
Given what happens in a couple months.
But also, I was like, thank God they do not show close-ups of them coming down, because that would have fucking ruined Edge and Christian for me, I think.
Why?
Oh, it's just the way they come down as well. It's not even the coming down.
It's the going up.
It's when they go back up. It's just...
I know exactly what you mean, because I've got a comment on it.
I just don't... I don't even understand the point, because what comes next I think is just disgusting. But I just don't do it. It's so bizarre. So fucking bizarre.
When they do break through and into a hole that's big enough, the Brood lower a noose into the ring and Taker applies it around the neck of the Boss Man. The Brood slowly get taken back up into the ceiling of the arena, although Edge is stuck in a bit of a limbo, which is awkward to say the least. He's looking up, holding on with his legs completely rigid, not moving at all, as Gangrel's bouncing up and gone.
It's so funny.
And Edge is just...
it's so funny.
It's so awkward.
So funny.
So awkward. He's given us that promo and he's given us this.
Oh, bless him.
Now we see Paul Bearer screaming yes as he presses a mechanical button. So, yes! That was Al Hayes, sorry.
Wow. God.
Sorry, he's not been in the show for a while. He's like, I'm getting in the show one way or the other.
Oh.
Now we see Paul Bearer screaming yes. I'm not doing it again because Al Hayes will come out again. As he presses a mechanical button, and this raises the Hell in a Cell construction. Bossman realises the danger he's in as he's slowly being lifted off the canvas and he's furiously grabbing at the rope. He fights for a bit in the air and then stops kicking. The commentary team are worried about it for approximately 20 seconds as the lights go off and Cole just casually transitions away to footage from WWF Rage, which looks a bit like a grunge concert full of wrestlers. Before we go there, what the fuck?
Honestly, I don't find that like that. No, didn't need it. What did it do? Nothing, because literally, it flips to something else. He's never fucking mentioned again.
That's what I mean. They go, oh my God, this is disgusting. Anyway, so for those of you who missed it, we were...
Like, why? What does that do?
It was done quite well in the fact of, I don't know how they actually rigged it to make it look like it was...
That's what I was thinking, though, but even so, you can still see his face is like...
Well, because he's
red.
making...
But I just was like, this is not... I don't understand what part of that is entertaining.
Well, the fans didn't sound entertained.
No.
The most entertaining part was watching Edge go... Whee!
Yeah, that was very funny.
Go back up.
No, that doesn't do it for me.
No, it was awful. No. Awful decision making. I'd like to know who actually was the one to okay that, to be honest. Yeah. I have my suspicions. So, speaking of WWF Rage, we do see one bit where it looks like Patterson and Briscoe were dressed as a pantomime horse, and Jerry accuses Pat of farting in his face. Okay. A band called and this is my favourite bit of the whole show. You might not have spotted the name on this.
I switched off.
But there was a band that was shown here, and their name, and I'm not joking, the Cherry Poppin' Daddies.
Oh no. Oh, that's so inappropriate.
So they've taken your Cherry Popping and added your least favourite daddies.
God. No, thank you.
Right, if they're ever doing anything around here, we've got to go see them.
No.
Which made me smile from ear to ear hearing they'd taken a popular phrase of Holly's and combined it with the word daddy. For those keeping score, the band were also introduced by Val Venus in a towel. Briscoe and Patterson also got in drag for this, which we've shown next because why not?
This just reminds me of Heenan trying to get into the arena.
Oh, Bobby. Oh, we miss you, Bobby. I miss you, Bobby. The Rock and Stone Cold exchange heated words as Taker threatens Vince, saying once he's done with Boss Man, there is nothing standing between him and her. You're thinking, who's her? Stephanie.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember when he kidnapped her and then Stone Cold?
Yes, I do remember.
Austin signs off to the crowd saying that there is no way in hell Stone Cold is not getting the job done at WrestleMania 15, and that is the bottom line. After this segment is done, we see Michael Cole stood in the middle of the ring and says that, no, I'm going to start that again. After the segment is done, we see Michael Cole stood in the middle of the ring and he says that calling the main event, Jim Ross, is on his way. King rightly says you can't have a WrestleMania without good old JR, and the sooner gets a great reception from the fans. Arguably the best of the night.
Absolutely.
Which is brilliant. It's so bad when you think about it, but it's brilliant. Because everyone loves JR. My heart felt for him as soon as you can see the Bell's palsy is still very fresh, as it were. I didn't know how to word that, but it's very evident on his face.
No, yeah, you can see he's just had a severe...
Yeah, very much so. Holly, did you know that Stone Cold and The Rock both asked for JR to be brought in to call their main event match?
Aww.
As detailed on TJ Wrestling, the legendary WWE Hall of Famer is widely considered as the voice of the Attitude Era by wrestling fans, but was forced to spend time away from the commentary table after suffering a bout of Bell's palsy in late 1998. Ross made a triumphant return to the thunderous ovation at WrestleMania 15 in Philadelphia on the 28th of March 1999, taking his place alongside longtime partner Jerry the King Lawler to call the main event bout between Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock for the WWF Championship. Speaking during a recent edition of his podcast, Grilling JR, the Oklahoma native explained that both Austin and The Rock specifically requested that he was the main man behind the announce desk for their highly anticipated bout. Ross declared that the friendship with the men he had signed to WWE played a key role in their request and highlighted the importance of adding emotion to the broadcast as a key factor to his success. So, also, he was a man that brought both of them. He was the head of talent relations and hired both of them to the WWF as well. I just thought that was a really nice story that they're like, I feel a bit bad for Cole, like, off you fuck, Michael.
But also, fine.
Yeah, I absolutely agreed. With the lovely return of JR out the way, Vince McMahon is introduced as a special guest referee for the main event. Holly, he lied to us.
Yes.
That is not a referee top.
No.
So I guess it didn't fit that well after all, you lying, shitting on people's chest bastard. Vince pretends to flex on his way to the ring before singing along to the lyrics of his entrance music, which I did like, I must say.
I like what happens next.
Speaking of lyrics to an entrance song, one of Holly's all-time favourites interrupts the boss as the commissioner, Shawn Michaels, appears and makes his way to the ring with a microphone in hand.
He does look like he's just stepped off the set of Miami Vice.
And having smoked as much marijuana as you could possibly imagine.
So high.
Shawn places a hand on Vince's shoulder and begins chuckling as the fans chant his name. Second biggest reaction of the night. Well, actually, no, I think that was bigger than JR's, if I'm being honest. Yeah. Shawn says, we can't have a WrestleMania without the Heartbreak Kid, can we? King says, I wish. And JR says, I agree with that, but he was talking
about Michael.
HBK, so it sounds like he just agreed with King, which I thought was amusing as well. Michael says that he was disappointed having been with the company for 10 years and having to buy a ticket into the arena, but he can overlook that. I can't. I'd like to know which ticket price gets you an entrance theme and walk to the ring for the main event.
Yeah, true.
That's the ticket I want.
Fair fucks,
Actually, I don't. Shawn says that he has told Vince so many times that he has to read the WWF rulebook, which is bleeped out, because I thought he swore and then I looked and he just says WWF.
Yeah, because I've put what was muted. I thought he said motherfucking rulebook.
I thought he said fucking rulebook, and then I play and he just clearly says WWF.
Okay, fair enough.
Michael says that the rulebook indicates there is only one man who can appoint an official in the WWF. It isn't Vince. He asked the fans who they think that one man is. Regardless of what they think, you got a bad track record on this night. No referee has seen a fucking thing. Anyway, I digress. HBK says the crowd are right and reiterates it to Vince as he pretends to thrust into something whilst talking like he has been punted in the dome. The Heartbreak Kid is what he kind of does. And I apologise for that visual that you got there, because it was, I couldn't do both hands either. No, and I'm sitting down.
I got it.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I can only apologise for it. Shawn says he has told Vince, no. HBK says the crowd, no, we've done that too. Shawn tells Vince to take his leave and don't let the door hit him in the arse on the way out. Michaels goes to bar Vince and the corporation, but says, actually, maybe I'll allow you. So he nearly cocked up. Shawn says if any of their narrow arses want to break his law, Shawn will fight Vince out the back.
Okay.
Well, what's weird there? Okay, so like, if any of these like big brutish dickheads, or he called narrow arses, break the rules, I'm going to kick the 65-year-old's ass out the back. Vince is in good shape. But
fair enough.
Like, it made it sound like it was a way tougher claim than what it was.
He's wearing suit and loafers, so, maybe
Boat
he can
shoes.
bring his kit bag.
Oh, yeah. We saw the cross as well, born-again Christian phase. Vince is sent packing and Shawn leaves with him. Sign, McMahon is gay.
I saw that.
But it's the pause as he goes...
He looks at it, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then looks away.
Like he looks at it, yeah.
Main event time of the evening.
Thank God.
Tough one.
Yes.
The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
WWF title.
Mm-hmm.
Were you looking forward to it?
Yeah, because it meant the program was almost finished.
Oh, wow.
But also, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good.
A little bit.
So the champion comes the fuck out first, and I'm none too pleased about it, I will have you know.
And not to the usual pop that I'm used to hearing for him either.
Exactly. This is when he was still part of the corporation, though. Holly, sideburns on the Rock here, yay or nay?
Get rid. Get fucking rid. We haven't reached my
Peak
rock.
Sign. Sponge 316. The glass shatters, and here comes the Texas rattlesnake. Oh no. T-shirt and pants. Holly will be livid.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Where's the jacket?
I know.
I was upset.
Yeah, it's not... We know I'm not a big fan of when they come out wearing... It's like when Randy comes out wearing a T-shirt and pants. I'm like, if you've got a T-shirt on, put trousers on.
I just realised, though, now, having heard the cameo from Butterbean that we played earlier in the show, that the reason Stone Cold wasn't quite ready is because he kept going into his dressing room going, "You're badass,"
Just
and then leaving out.
Exactly. To put the rest of his clothes on.
All makes sense now. Austin goes to do his four-corner salute, but Rock blocks him off and asks, "Where the fuck are you going, you piece of shit?" Austin looks to walk by again, but is blocked off once more. I love that. Mm-hmm. When Austin throws the first punch, this one is underway, and the two trade big punches that Austin clearly gets the better of until he's backdropped to the floor and crashes into the announce table.
This is the Battle of the Black Pants.
It is the Battle of the Black Pants for sure.
Almost identical.
Don't contrast and you're not happy.
Well, no. I mean, luckily, it's very easy to work out who is who.
Funny
I'm just saying.
Off the Spanish announce desk now goes Austin, and he looks to have slipped on a banana peel as he hits the deck. He just seems to fall out of nowhere, doesn't he?
It was ridiculous, but it was everything I needed in that moment.
The Rock helps Austin remove his shirt and uses it to choke him near the timekeeper's table. Holly cheers. Both men make their... my phone... This is the weirdest typo I've ever had in any show we've ever done.
Okay.
Both men make their eBay back to the ring.
eBay?
Yeah, make their way back into the ring, and Rock is stamping away on Austin. Back on his feet, Stone Cold fires off a few rights and sends Rock sailing over the top to the outside. Into the crowd the men go, and we can see practically nothing beyond Austin throwing punches. They're really struggling to make headway, though, as the crowd just in circles and encloses on them, and they make their decisions come back to the ring. Austin clambers up onto a crowd partition and hits a double axe handle to the back of the champ, causing him to stumble his way back to the ringside area. Second sloppy double axe handle hits from the barricade, and Austin now sends Rock sailing into the fans on the hard camera side. They trade a few rights until Rock clotheslines Austin back to ringside. The champ grabs a camera cable and chokes Stone Cold, with both men now fighting their way back up the aisle.
So this match... Was this a no DQ match?
I wasn't aware of it, but someone on commentary says it in a little bit.
Okay.
So I was thinking they're just going to let anything go.
It's weirdly... Obviously they've done it 20 times before. But for me, what is missing here is this match is a no DQ match. Then the bell goes, not tell me 10 minutes into the match.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, the attitude era, just they seem to let all this kind of stuff fly.
I'm just going to assume from here on out, you can do anything you like.
It's probably a safer bet if I'm being perfectly honest. Rock is whipped into the fence in front of the tiered fans and walks right into a big clothesline from the rattlesnake. Face first into the fence goes the Great One, and Austin is looking for a pile driver. We know the drill here. Austin is back dropped onto the floor, but his legs hit a steel structure supporting the house lights as he lands on the floor. Has to suck, but it did look intentional. Yeah. There's no way Austin didn't see where he was positioning himself for this.
No, it did look bad though.
Austin is in trouble as he can't get back to his feet. Rock now takes his time stamping at the challenger. Blocked right from Austin, and he throws Rock into a camera crane before they collide in a bit of a mess as they both look to hit clotheslines on one another. Dick stamped by Austin, and now he's the one to choke the Rock with a cable. JR reminds us this is a no DQ match, not that it mattered really anyway. Rock is sent flying back first into the metal points at the bottom of the Mania logo, which I actually quite liked, I don't know why. Stone Cold is marching Rock back to the ring by the head, but finds his suplex on the concrete blocked, and Rock hits his own instead. Now Rock is marching Austin and bounces his head off the steel steps. The Great One stays hydrated by glugging water from commentary and spits it all at his challenger. Austin blocks himself from going into the barricade and drops Rock sternum first for his troubles. With Rock lying on the Spanish announce desk, Austin climbs the barricade and drops an elbow to the champion, and you can hear the cover of the desk crack, but it doesn't break.
Yep.
Both champion and challenger slide to the floor, not quite like Big Show and Mankind earlier. Not happy with his first impact, Austin visits the well for a second time, and on this occasion the table does indeed break. Stone Cold has the water now and spits it in the face of the Rock before remaining hydrated also. Finally, they're back in the ring. Oh no, they aren't. Rock has grabbed Austin's leg and wrapped it around the ring post.
Drink.
On the second attempt, however, Rock is pushed over the barricade and back into the fans. Austin grabs him and pulls him back over before whipping the champion into the stairs and stomping away. Rock in the ring, and so is Austin. Rock bottom out of nowhere. 1, 2, no. Stone Cold kicks out. The Rock needs a new plan and has grabbed himself a steel chair, but Austin cuts him off before he can use it. Now the challenger has it and takes a swing, but Rock has pulled the official into the way and the lights go out in Georgia. Right hands from the Rock and he connects with a swinging neckbreaker. Rock has the chair, but Austin boots him. Stunner is blocked and the rattlesnake is dropped with a back elbow. Chair shot to the knee from the champion are methodical and consistent. Big chair shot between the eyes, and we have a new official to count the 1, 2, no. Austin kicks out again. Rock covers again, but still only a 2 count. Reverse chinlock is applied, and but Austin fights his way to his feet before getting levelled with a clothesline.
I was glad he didn't fall asleep, I'll be honest.
Reverse chinlock reapplied by the Rock.
Mm-hmm.
The challenger is fading. Holly, can you do the honours?
He's asleep. He's not asleep.
Exactly, it's a shortened one again. Austin fights back up again and fires off piston-like right hands until he runs into a Samoan drop where we get a cover and a near fall. The Rock threatens the ref and actually follows through as he hits a rock bottom.
Why?
Why not?
Why?
Fuck them. They're not
stupid.
referees aren't people in this. Stunner by Austin. Oh, don't worry. It gets better with the referees. Stunner by Austin and the crowd erupt. We also now finally have Mr. Manwich himself, Earl Hebner, on the scene.
He's strapped up that leg. He's done some stretches. He paces it down that entryway.
Deep Heat was in full force.
So
1,
good.
2, no. Rock kicks out.
That alone, I'll be honest, that alone, for me, is the pinnacle of this match.
Wait till what happens after.
Oh, I love that.
From the aisle, we see Vince McMahon walking to the ring. Good job Sean remembered to not ban Vince there, like he nearly did. The boss taunts Austin, who flips him the bird in response. Low blow from The Rock, and now Vince has joined him in the ring, decking Earl Hebner for shits and giggles. Both McMahon and Rock lay boots into Austin, but the crowd begin cheering as making his laboured way to the ring is Mankind, back from the hospital. Right hand from Mankind sends Vince to the floor, and as Rock marches towards the new referee, Stone Cold gets a schoolboy roll-up for the 1, 2, no. Rock kicks out. Thez press by Austin. Elbow drop from Austin, but Rock kicks the rattlesnake when he drops his head early by kicking and clotheslining the challenger. Second rock bottom of the night, but Rock doesn't make the cover. It looks like it is the corporate elbow time, but no, it misses. Austin looks for the stunner, but Rock catches the kick and spins him into a rock bottom attempt that's blocked. Finally, the stunner connects. The crowd erupts. 1, 2, 3. Stone Cold Steve Austin is the new WWF champion. The camera pans to McMahon on the outside and he looks beside himself. JR is screaming about how Austin has overcome all the odds and walked away as the man. Mankind presents the WWF title to Stone Cold, who raises it into the air, saluting the crowd. Hand up, Austin wants a drink. He might be the best beer catcher on the planet. The cans are cracked open and the content is drained. Middle finger to The Rock for good measure. JR mocks King for checking in the well-being of Vince McMahon, and it made me laugh. Oh, are you okay, Mr. McMahon? Really good. Austin goes to leave, but changes his mind based on the reception. He throws his title back into the ring and brings Earl Hebner with him. Manwich is given a beer, and they smash cans together. Hebner is on the fucking ropes, the little idiot. I should not be enjoying this as much as I am.
It was so good.
I was like, he's going to get hit with a stunner. No,
he actually is allowed to enjoy himself.
He's allowed to smash a can and drink it.
Fucking loved it.
I wonder if he was going to take WWE to court for the chair hitting him in the leg, and he says, do you know what, if I can do this, I'll allow it. Stone Cold salutes the belt with a can, and he grabs even more beer. Vince is shaking his head in the aisle, no doubt plotting his next strategy. Austin looks to march past him, but Vince calls him a son of a bitch and says, "That's my belt." Thought you didn't like that word, Vinny, belt, because he says a belt is used to hold up trousers. That's a title. That's a championship. Stone Cold teases, handing the title to Vince, but punches him instead. McMahon is rolled into the ring and Austin hits possibly the best stunner Vince has and ever will take in his entire life. It's good.
He's so... Compared to this, right? I watched some video the other day on YouTube and it was like people's cells of the stunner, and Vince is just
They're
cringe.
awful, aren't they?
Fucking cringe. His legs just crumple underneath him.
This is the best one he's taken that I've seen.
Awful.
The new champion pours beers all over the owner and talks smack to rub salt into the wound. After a highlights package, the show draws to a close.
Yay.
Holly, what did you think? We'll get to the show itself, but what did you think of the match?
Well, thank God this ended it, I'll be honest. Didn't mind it. It was... Again, though, I didn't feel like it was amazing. But in comparison to all the other shit we've seen, it really felt like it was. And at least the crowd were alive for this one,
Yeah,
too,
they were. It's the first one
helped.
I heard the crowd consistently in.
Still, I mean, I say it's a low score. It's probably an over score, but that's compared to everything else. I gave it 2.25.
Okay. So Dave scored it at 3.5.
Right.
I would go closer to 3 just because of the, like you said, basically the dearth of what we'd seen up to that point. That the crowd really G'd me along. And there's a lot of stuff in there that I don't like. The brawling around the arena relentlessly bores me, but when The Rock and Stone Cold do it, it's okay. It's like a pass. So I thought it was okay. That's why I kind of go 3, and I think it would probably be lower had it not been on a card with such abject crap.
Yeah.
Which is quite bad, actually, because like I said, in the Mania run-throughs, this wasn't one I warned you about.
No.
And to be fair, I still don't put it nearly as low as the other ones that really got my goat. You might disagree, which is fair enough, and I guess that transitions us into you saying what you thought of the show as a whole.
Dull.
Dull.
Long.
Yeah, it felt long.
Exactly. Like, it wasn't long time-wise compared to the others.
Same as the last few Manias.
But it felt long. It was hard work watching.
I did it in 2 goes.
Yeah, I definitely split it over a few more. But out of 10, 3.75.
Okay. Yeah.
Because, I mean, it was what it was.
I would go 4, but not much higher than you. But I feel like 3 something seems a bit wrong.
Fair.
So that's why I've gone 4. Certainly won't be in the top 10 Manias when all's said and done.
No, absolutely not.
Be interesting to see, actually, after we have gone through all the Manias, what technically scored as the highest 10 for both of us.
Yeah, true.
I'd have to listen back to that, I guess, at some point to be able to compile that together, unless someone out there wants to do that for me. Why are you laughing?
That's a draw. That's a lot of effort.
So you're not doing it?
You write it down. Just look at your notes of what you've scored.
Yeah, but some of them are in... No, I don't write the show scores.
Do you not?
No, I just put the match scores and then tell you what it is afterwards. Well, I can just listen back to the last part of the... So you're not volunteering?
No.
Okay.
Sorry, but no.
Well...
We've established that between the 3 of us that are involved in this, I do the least.
You said that, not me. But we haven't quite finished yet because we've got your favourite section of the night.
Yeah.
What was... And the world is waiting. The world is waiting to know. What was your outfit of the night?
This was really... Again, it's really hard this era to actually have decent outfits, I think.
I've got a few listed.
Okay, hang on. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I've got 7.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Right.
Okay.
Do you want to... I'll tell you if you're in there or not.
Kane.
No, because I had already put him in last time.
But it's compared to what's the... Okay, fine. Pete Rose.
Who?
Chicken.
Fuck off.
Test.
No. No.
Val Venus.
No.
China.
No.
Sable.
No.
Tory.
Yes.
Who the fuck else have you got on here? I'm not having Edge Christian and all
I
that.
clutched at straws here.
Undertaker won't be on there. Bossman
So-
won't be on there.
Right, you ready?
Rock and Stone Cold won't.
We'll
Yep.
go from the top.
Go for it.
Butterbean's patriotic pants.
Fair fucks. Hadn't considered that.
Tori's catsuit gets a big shout out. Shane McMahon's chump t-shirt. That just gets an honourable mention. You said he wouldn't be in here, but actually, Undertaker's... I liked the entrance cape
Okay.
he has. Didn't mind that. Thought it was alright. And my final entrant, who is also the winner, JR.
JR?
Suited and booted.
Oh, for the tuxedo waistcoat.
The snazzy fucking waistcoat, the hat, fucking best dressed person there by far all night long.
I'd have gone Tori, because I thought her outfit was the most
phenomenal.
unique. The fact that JR won best outfit of the night, and this isn't a shot at JR, I think he would say, were you watching the show?
Yes, I was.
And you would say, sadly, yes, I fucking was.
Yes, I fucking was.
So never did I think JR would win one of
No.
these, and he did on a show which had Sable.
Yeah, I like...
And Deborah.
I like Sable, but I've seen that outfit is nothing to...
Deborah?
What was she wearing? Not a lot. Like...
Yeah.
Well, it's my segment, not yours, so...
Fair. Put me in my place. I respect that.
That's it.
Okay, well,
I'm out.
thoughts and opinions on that one. I think that might be splitting the crowd a little bit. But, you know,
I'm
as you
clutching
said...
at straws in this era.
Hey, it's your segment, not mine. That's absolutely fair enough. Before we go into the sunset, what are the socials that you're going to share?
wintwicepod@gmail.com for email recommendations that go to you.
Yes.
Everything else is wintwicepod, so that is Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, whatever it's called.
X.
Thank you. I don't use it.
So there's many...
I don't know. I only look at it when you two send links through.
Yeah, fair enough. That's so there's many ways that you can get in contact with us and put show suggestions forward. We had one last week which was Royal Rumble 2000, which is up and ready for people to listen to.
We had a lot of people guess what this one was straight away from the little freeze frame too.
They did, yeah. I was
Very
quite impressed by
impressed.
that. Originally I thought someone had guessed 17 first, then I realised there'd been few
Yes.
other communications in the chain. But yeah, no, so hopefully you've enjoyed us revisiting and going back to the March Through the Mania series, and we are on to WrestleMania 2000. What a jump.
Oh, God.
This is aging like Hercules,
Oh.
who we haven't seen for a while, have we, Holly?
Because he's like 25,000 years old by now.
No, he's dead now, but like, but yeah. But hopefully you guys and gals have all enjoyed that, and until the next one, take care.
Bye.
Until next time, this has been a Win Twice Wrestling production. Peace out.